typically kind of guides or hints at anything coming forward. I think the stock will probably do well, but I really don't think it's going to have anything to do with the numbers that they post. That being said, if they post good numbers and Elon hints at something awesome, I think the stock will probably do a lot better, but that's just my take.
All right, thank you. All right, here we go. BYND, we're done this trade now. It's, I think, possibly losing trend, topping till candle through 155, current candle, lower high and lower low. You know, it could mean nothing, but I'd be looking for maybe a buy into that 140 area to hold the 10 EMA on the 5. I'm talking about BYND up 125%, Joey. It's 2 o'clock. Well, it's actually 2:01.
2:01.
All right, send them off, Joe.
Let's go. Blue Jays. Let's play.
You want to make some predictions before we go?
Okay.
All right, so let's go ahead. So win or loss? Let's start with that.
Well, I want them to win.
Well, yeah, I'm not talking about what won. I want them to win too.
Win.
We're going to win.
Yeah.
All right.
Because we got Bieber at the mount.
We got Bieber on the mount, right?
Yeah.
Neil, who do they have? Kirby.
Kirby.
Is that the mustachio guy? It's a mustachio guy, isn't it? I remember that. We beat him up last time, though, didn't we?
I got a couple choice words for Kirby.
Yeah, I remember we tagged him. So maybe he'll be looking for revenge, but who knows? We tagged him. We know we tagged him. Let's make a score prediction, Joey.
Okay. Ooh, if the bats are up, I think it's going to be a tight. This is game 7. I'm going 5-4 Blue Jays.
5-4?
Yeah,
that's a close one. That's a sweater.
That's a tighter, man.
I'm gonna go. Let's go 7-3 Jays.
Oh,
7-3 Jays.
7-3 Jays.
Let's go 7-3 Jays, Joe. I like number 7. 3, you know, you throw them a bone. All right, guys. All right, guys.
Yeah. We'll go 7-3 Jays.
What's this over here? Look at this.
Yeah. Look at this.
Like Hoffman went 2 innings.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome back. We were just sort of.
We didn't want to go to the pen too much, but Hoffman looked great yesterday.
He looked great, but he threw 2 innings, so it's like. I know who's not going to get into the game tonight. I can bet you that much.
Who?
Well, I mean, Little's obviously not.
Oh, Brandon Little. Yeah.
I actually think one of our starters is going to come into the game a little bit later, but welcome back, everybody. As you can, oh, shoot, I was about to say, as you can see, the market, the Nasdaq is up 1.4%.
It's gone now.
But you will see it in a second. The Nasdaq 1.4.
Almost.
And almost.
Yeah, we have a new little box here.
I was going to say, like the new little box that's up there. So as it matriculates in, I'll just patiently wait for it to show up again. The ES highs, the market, absolute beast. Beyond Meat, which I thought it was going to stop at $1.20. It very clearly didn't stop at $1.20. Reversing along didn't hold. So there's not much standing in Beyond Meat's way until $1.70 and $2. The squeeze is on for this bad boy. But as mentioned, this is the Nasdaq, and we are right back to where we were when things dumped a couple Fridays ago. Pretty much on the nose. So the recovery, and now the recovery is complete.
Yeah, we're interested in this. I mean, up another $1, up another 1.5%. No, I was saying, Brendan, I was sitting at home watching the show on Friday, and I thought there wasn't enough like market, like we have that thing in the bottom right, the very, very bottom, but I just thought a bigger look, like, you know, when you're watching, you know, I don't know, whatever, different shows. It's like, what's the Nasdaq doing? What's that? But it's all in the bottom right there, but we're going to have it up soon there again. But yeah, welcome. I only have 1 trade today. It's all just reload, and it's promised land. So just on that one, it's been a great one there. You know, while I was actually out on a walk right here. We had our 441s there, giving ourselves $1 worth of risk. We come back and it's $4 or $5 in the money, so we take that out on the way back up, VWAP and so on and so forth. So we'll see about reloading this at some point. But yeah, we are now 6 hours away from first pitch, man. I mean, 8:05 or so tonight will be the first pitch, and we'll see what winds up happening. Be exciting to see who throws out the first pitch. I know we had Batista yesterday. I think we can.
How do you?
I think he just goes back. I think probably they're saving Joe Carter maybe.
Joe in the World Series.
Well, we got to make it there first. What I'm saying is like maybe use him tonight for another good luck.
Get hyped.
Or what about Vladimir Guerrero Sr.?
That would be
pretty really nice. Just actually
Pack Warriors World Series MVP.
I sent a picture to my daughter. I'll have to find it for you and I'll show it to you. Where it's Vladimir and both of them, Vladimir and his son, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And he was like wearing a little Expos jersey, and he's like this tall and fat and chubby and everything like that. It's a really cute picture. So, yeah, we're excited for tonight as the Dodgers await Monday Night Football. I'll be at the rink for a little bit. I just told my wife, I was like, I'll take Gia to the game tonight, but she's like, nah, Gia wants to go to hockey.
What's the other game tonight? It's
I don't know. It's Houston.
Houston and Seattle.
Houston and Seattle.
This is the second game.
Yeah. You have 2 guys going. I'm beating you, by the way.
Dude, without my team shit the bed. Oh, well,
yeah. So did my team.
And also the Bills are on the bye, which doesn't really.
Yeah.
My team really needs.
I've got some guys on the bye too.
It's because Detroit's won. Detroit versus somebody. Because
you have Jameson. Bucks.
Oh, that's a good game.
Bucks
versus
Lions.
Bucks Lions.
Yeah, Houston.
Why are we looking at the screen?
I don't know. All right, let's go back. It was there. Oh, the information was there, and then eSignal took it over. So, anyways, we're going to be figuring out this one as well. Okay, here we go. Let's ask this. Will the Blue Jays win tonight?
Yes.
If this is going to say ask perplexity, then I'm not.
Yes.
Too much. The answer is going to be yes, but this is.
Boom.
Man, this isn't anymore. Oh, why not ask perplexity? Honestly, that's exactly what it.
I feel like it's only ever coming up with that one. Well, what does perplexity say? Will the Blue Jays?
I don't think it's gonna. I think it's gonna say like sports are like well undetermined or.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be great for the Jays. I mean, the Jays at the beginning of the season were 250 to 1. What does it say? I was checking sources.
Checking sources.
It's gonna say they're the favorites.
Checking sources. It's projected to be close. Most betting models give it to Toronto. 54% probability. Yeah, whatever. 130. Yeah, the guy I was telling Sean, the guy next to me.
It's just odds.
The guy next to me really needed that. Ernie Clement hit a bomb or hit a triple that landed like 1 foot underneath, and he needed that one to hit for his ticket.
Yeah.
It's like, I wanted to.
Who throws a ticket with Ernie Clement on a bomb?
No, he needed. It was the total number of home runs. He just needed that one to leave, and he would have been good. But then I was telling Sean, like, was it you or Obi? You know, it was you last week. Last week at one of the games, it was 2 weeks ago against the Yankees. We're sitting 3 rows behind a guy, and we're no-hitting the Yankees. You think it was whatever it was like the 5th inning or something.
Right, it was Judge, right, with the story.
And Aaron Judge gets a random single, and this dude 3 rows in front of us is losing his mind because he had 13 large on essentially Aaron Judge just getting a hit, which is one of those crazy bets because I would imagine, because a bet like that, like he's probably he probably gets 1 hit a game, like obviously. So it's one of those that you probably we figured like 8 or 9 down just to make.
It could have been part of a parlay. It could have been like a.
Well, from what we heard from one of the dudes that apparently talked to him was no, it was just
that
straight bet. It was just that one straight bet. Aaron Judge.
I mean, I bet that Springer would get a hit tonight, but that'd probably be like minus 300 again too, right? Because these guys go 1 for 3, 1 for 4.
Well, the most sure thing is that Vlad will get walked once.
Yeah,
because I think there'll be an intentional walk. I bet you Raleigh will get intentionally walked once today too.
Probably. Here comes Tesla. Well, yeah, I guess so, depending on the score. Yeah. There's Tesla again. It just hit VWAP again. We actually didn't have an order there, so we do now. We're at 45. So one little rip through that, and we'll get filled. Rate. Nope. We're almost getting out here. We'll take another fill rate. Oh, we got it actually. Okay, so we get that right there at VWAP again. So $3.50 winner there. We'll just wait to see if it continues here for my good friend and hopefully yours as well, Tesla. Earnings on Wednesday. Lots of earnings this week, including, again, we had Tesla, we had GE Vernova as well, Netflix IBM, Netflix tomorrow.
Intel Thursday.
What is Netflix's price right here? Like Netflix.
$11.97.
Yeah, no, yeah, $12.50.
Oh, $12.50.
Well up, but yeah, it was $11.80. It was down here $11.40. Those are probably some buy opportunities down there. But okay, let's go back over to the desk. We've got Sharif ready to be locked and loaded here with our rundown.
Welcome to the Afternoon Rundown, guys, where the show where you decide what we talk about every afternoon. The big boys, they're locked, they're loaded, and they're ready to look at the tickers as decided by you. But the only way to get those tickers right there, join us in the chat and vote for your favorite tickers every day. But you got to precede that by the $sign. Throw in that $sign followed by whatever ticker your heart so desires. Guys, all 4 major averages decidedly green here with the NQ about to take out 1.5%. Trading near the day's high right now at 25,354. The ES likewise very strong as it approaches 68,000 again. 67,872 up 1 1/5, and the Dow doing nicely about 1 1/4% in Greensville as it's about to take out 47,000 again, trading a little bit below that at the moment. And then yes, The Russell 2000 back above 25,000 and just shy of 2%, the best performing major average on the day. But this monster, BYND, oh baby, what a move up BYND had today, 153 high, dropping below 150 now, up 126%. Look, there's really no news, but we know this company did file for bankruptcy back in July, got rid of a whole lot of debt. And that's what we're talking about over here. The company announced it completed an exchange of nearly $1.15 billion in zero coupon convertible notes that are due in 2027 for a new mix of assets, about $202.5 million in new 7% convertible notes due 2030, and roughly about $326 million in new shares of common stock. So dilution, guys, an issue here, but this feels like much more of a retail short squeeze. What do you guys think of BYND?
Yeah, you mean you just said it. It's a retail short squeeze, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, just because, oh, the fan's finally. The last time the fan went, like, didn't we lose
I was gonna
power?
say, as long as no power went out, but it sounds like that's good.
Okay,
Normally
we're
we
good.
hear that.
No,
We hear that fan go down.
the last time that happened, we lost power. So we're fine. Beyond Meat, no, like, again, like retail short squeeze, dilution doesn't. At the end of the day, like I think there's still obviously the chance, a decent probability that things don't work out for them, because there's a lot. Obviously, they have a lot of issues and a lot of troubles in terms of getting enough sales to have a viable business. And so there's a lot going on here. But you just got to be worried about the squeeze, right? Like, what was the number? 72%? You said it was short float or whatever it might be currently.
Yeah, it's in the 70s.
Yeah, it's ridiculously high, somewhere in the 70s. And I liked it off $1 in both directions today, but I kind of thought it was going to stop right in here, like this prior low, and then into these highs at $1.20. So I was playing it short off $1 and then long off $1, but each time, like short only got to 92, long I took to 15, and now it's at 150. Like, I'm trying to be patient about this because I think there's a back end coming on Beyond Meat. And I'm looking at $1.70 here and $2 up there. So those are the two places I'll look for a reversion on BYND. Again, squeeze play, so pick your spot if you're ever trying to go short, or at least be particular about it, have yourself an out. But 70 and $2, 170 and $2 are the places I'll look short.
All right, yeah, I mean, I'm thinking that, you often will get like multiple day runners, right? I mean, we've seen this market happen, this move happen in many names, LAC, Open Door, BBAI, and everything like that. So I think I almost think it's just getting started here. I mean, is there a world where somebody comes in and takes them out of essentially bankruptcy here and the stock can rally back to the upside? I believe that there is a situation where that could happen. Either, a Tyson Foods or somebody can come in, and I haven't heard anything, but maybe somebody can right the ship here. I mean, Beyond Meat, I know there's not a lot of fans out there of this product, but I think at the end of the day, they still do have that sort of first mover advantage. Now, they didn't take advantage of it. Maybe somebody else will. I wonder if there is any brand, not loyalty, but like awareness left in this name. And if so, maybe they can, with maybe a different marketing campaign or different product altogether, bring this back to life. So I think that's probably what this little bump is. And with that short float, I could see this continuing in for multiple days. So I would say what you're looking for right now is 2 to 250. That's where the 50-period moving average is. The 200 period is up here at $3. I still think there's extension able to happen in this. I mean, imagine here today, you're like, look at this bid, first of all, 500,000 shares right here on ARCA, which is not that much. I mean, we're going to do 1 billion shares today. But I just wanted to say, like, is there a world where you wake up tomorrow and this thing's at $2? I mean, I think there's someone goes to sleep tonight. If it closes right here, they expecting maybe they're going with a big short overnight, and if it opens up lower, great, they'll be cashing that out, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. But what if it opens up higher? Then is there a panic to squeeze out of this even more with 70+% short? I think that's a possibility, that there could be a lot of traders holding this overnight and hoping that, again, the fundamentals eventually matter and this thing does wind up going to zero. But we all know here that, there's other things at play here other than simply looking at the P&E of PEs of stock. So we'll pay attention to this one here. The fans are starting up again, so I think we still have power around here. The generator, is that? No, I think that was one of those. I
don't know what
they're using nail guns and everything.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, Ryan Cohen is live, says Nate. Yeah, so I don't know. Is Ryan Cohen a Beyond Meat guy right now? I don't know. I mean, Ryan Cohen, Wasn't he in Chewy and things like that? So, I mean, we can have a look.
It's not on this thing.
I don't know what Ryan Cohen's in right now. You guys can let me know, but maybe it's still GameStop, obviously, as that's been a good little stock here for a couple minutes as well. We did have Martin Shkreli tweeting around again all last week, so we do know that there is some influence there. And EWJ, Eric Jackson there, EWJ Capital, on stocks like Better, and then he was on HUT 8 last week as well. Oops, that's his Toronto name right there. This is the Toronto stock, HUT. Let me just give it to you what's happening in the United States right now on HUT. Bitcoin's dropping a little bit, 10.3. HUT 8 still up 1.4%. All right, I'm sure, no, Bitcoin is not on this list. All right, let's go talk about GSIT, and then we'll get over to some of the bigger names here as well.
GSIT, guys, GSI Technology shares trading much higher here, about 155% in Greensville after the company announced research showing its APU compute in-memory architecture can actually match GPU-level performance for large-scale AI applications while also reducing, very importantly here, energy consumption, guys. So GSIT breaking down below VWAP right now, which is about 13 2/3. But this is a great move, guys, for a small cap name of 160%.
Yeah, great move. Like, I think it would get even more attention if it weren't for the billion shares that are about to get done on Beyond Meat being up over 100% as well. Unfortunately, like, what's crazy is we sort of said this we say this almost all the time. For specific ones like this, like the pre-market is probably your best friend. Because the second the market opened, it was just halt fest on the stock and only now calming down. Like, by the time it calms down, it's like it's on the back end of the trade and there might be like these little consolidations for you. But that was at this price here, like 13.5. That's what needs to go. Like, it needs to be able to start holding in that 13.5, and then maybe you get a second salvo as well here on that GSIT. It has the possibility of a little something to it, just because of how big the volume is holding like the top end of this, whatever formation you happen to want to call it. It's still bullish as long as it holds this 13 area. And I'll probably, I'll be looking at Beyond Meat instead of this afternoon. But if Beyond Meat were to die, let's just say, then maybe GSIT is one that you look at. It doesn't look terrible when you look at that, when you look at the actual chart on the day. You're just rather seeing it hold that volume weighted average price a little bit better, because for now that support from earlier is kind of resistance until it's not.
Just real quickly here, for those of you riding with this one, we just took 4 on Tesla, just got up to 445 again. So we should take it out right here at 85. So just another quick out there. This is basically the best that we've been able to get is in and around VWAP. If it continues to rip higher, I'm still at 446.80. Actually, I just canceled that. I'll put that back. Because I took a fill here at 445, I canceled this one, but I think this would be the next sort of tranche right there, 446.50 or so. And then up to 448, 449, and then we'll see if we can take down 450. We've seen Tesla go on some pretty crazy runs here in the afternoon, so we'll wait to see if that's another possibility. If anything, I was debating shorting the market right here at 25.3, and I'm actually still thinking about it right now. Would rather it come back a little bit. We'll talk about the Qs in a minute. But all right, Robinhood off to the races here today, despite some people telling us it's down. So let's go find out the story here with Robinhood.
Yeah, guys, Robinhood up decently here, trying to take out 140, up 6%. They're getting more investment from BlackRock. That's what's going on over here. So they've been a lucrative investment for shareholders, as this article speaks about. But BlackRock has increased its position in Robinhood by more than 40% in the third quarter. It disclosed in a securities filing over the weekend, guys. The asset manager now owns about 55.8 million Robinhood shares as of the 30th of September, giving it about a 7.2% ownership stake. That is up from the 39.7 million shares that they had, and then that was also up from the a 5.2% stake. So now they've increased their share ownership by about 2%.
Yeah, and for a lot of people, the story today with Robinhood was just like it was for Webull, and I think a few other places where there were outages and inability to trade, access, or maybe sometimes some people were reporting incorrect account balances. So there was just a lot of internal things going on. A lot of it probably related to the AWS outage, which just goes to show, Amazon's all over the place for you. But look, it's up 6% anyways, and I think that might have to do mostly with the crypto bounce to a certain extent, and the fact that Robinhood pulled right back into almost the 50-period moving average here. You know, it did a bit of a right turn off of 150 to 155 and comes right back into 1/4 on Friday. Looks like that 1 1/4, temp bottom, rounded bottom, and then some nice continuation. What's interesting about this is it's holding out the top of the range despite the fact that people are complaining literally all day long. All you see on X is people complaining about Robinhood. And it still was managing to hold up all day. And it's doing so with, if you look at the Bitcoin recovery, like Bitcoin's bounced at several spots, but it's now trend down. Like I'm in this one off of that 62.5 support that we talked about earlier. So it was 63 and the 62.5. That's where I've been transacting. I like the strength. I mean, SoFi's next. Okay, we'll talk about SoFi. I was about to say, like, I like the strength in both of these names when you start to factor in like what isn't strong today, because not all of fintech is strong today, and crypto is certainly part of it. Robinhood holding up despite that, and despite this outage. I think that's a big positive for Robinhood. The fact that it did not have any sell-off, despite being down all day, and people really complained, but they're not selling shares, obviously.
Yeah, I still wonder if how far it's been down. Remember, they had tokenized all these securities over in Europe today, so there was a good news story with them today. And, you know, stocks going, or internet outages, you can't, you know, I think it'd be buying opportunity, as we know, if there was any stocks that went to some downside because of that. Tesla's still going. The big name for downside today is Oracle. I feel super lucky. We were able to get out of this name, I forget how much of it, but at 319, and I was actually doing research on its PE and everything. Its PE is still pretty high, 65. Historically in the high 20s, low 30s. We'll wait to see if Oracle can come down even more. But I don't know how lucky we got on that top wick there. We even tweeted it out on Thursday. But Oracle, some nice downside. Yeah, look, I really, really like SoFi. So let's go have a look at what the story is there for SoFi.
All right, guys, SoFi up nicely as well. Very similar move here to Robinhood, up 7.84, looking to take out 8. Rejected generally that $29 area that we rejected back on the 15th, but here is the headline. SoFi was upgraded to a Zacks Rank 2, which is their version of buy, reflecting what the company's calling upward trend in earnings estimate. The upgrade here is suggestive of an improvement in the company's underlying business and could positively, I should say, impact the stock price. For the fiscal year ending in 2025, they're expected to earn about 32 pennies per share. We'll have to see how they do on the day. But guys, nice move up here for SoFi.
Great move. And on that monthly chart, remember the IPO high breakout play. That's what Robinhood already did. We've seen several names pull this off. And you've had the break on the monthly. We have yet to close above that prior high. Well, with about a week and a half to go, this is happening. It feels like there's nothing that can stop it from closing. It's like 28 or something like that. So if it closes above, and it's above that price now, then you now have closed on that monthly chart, sort of satisfying the breakout terms on SoFi. And I think that's the second salvo. It's already done a pretty good one here, just going back to the start of the year, all the way from like $10, or actually underneath $10, and you've got your triple up. But the consolidation above the prior high and that next breakout, now do I think it'll do what, oops, I didn't mean to full screen that. Do I think it will do what Robinhood did on a similar break? Not really, because I think the market's, oh no, why can't I look at the Robinhood one? That's not cool. Okay, well, thank you, Robinhood, for not showing up. Robinhood doing a much better move. Oh, there it is. Okay, these things were a little bit slow today for me. Robinhood did a similar move where it broke out of its prior IPO high, and it was like 3 straight months to the upside and gave you like another 60 to 70% from there. So if I were to do something similar to this, it would get to about $50 by the end. Well, not by the end of the year, but by the start of next year. So I think it can do something similar, maybe not quite as parabolic, because again, market conditions do matter. But that's what I love about SoFi. I think it does that close as long as it holds that month. I think we're going to get that shot similar to this. Love the IPO breakout. It's not an IPO breakout. It's like the IPO high breakout play.
Yeah, so for me, I mean, exactly the same play here. I really like SoFi down at these levels. So, you know, we've already recently just rebought it here at 25.50. So obviously I like that, and I think it's going to be a great windfall moving forward, right? I mean, I'm still pretty large into JP Morgan. That's my #1 financial, but SoFi might even be 2 by this point. I do hold some Canadian banks as well, but I've been averaging up. SoFi was one where I did take some profits here at 24. We're hearing in our ear AWS is almost all the way back, so hopefully everybody's corrected there. But yeah, we got some out there, and I actually bought some more right there, and we did sell some. So we've been getting in and out, but I've been reloading it, trying to get longer on SoFi. So definitely a name that I like, and up 8% today. Not even thinking about ringing the register. If anything, I'm thinking, like, that's why I didn't buy Oracle on the dip today. I was telling Neil during the midday there, I was like, I don't want to buy more AI names. I'm trying to get out. That's why we sold some Marvell. We sold some Oracle off of these huge rips recently. So pretty grateful to be able to get those opportunities to do that. We sold some Palantir. I sold some AMD on Thursday. All the names that you think are toppy, I did not sell Nvidia, and I wish I had bought more Apples.
Nvidia's not really moving the same way. Like AMD did. I mean,
I know Nvidia's the king.
Nvidia had like 30% move, and now it's back up at the highs. Like, that's crazy. Before we go back and talk about Rani or Rani, whichever way you're supposed to pronounce it, IONQ is having a pretty bad day.
Yeah, man. We sold SMR too on Friday or on Thursday.
You know what's interesting? Everyone, and this is what's weird to me, is I shouldn't say everyone. I should say the only person that said it. Between the quantum names, you know, IONQ and between the quantum names and the what's the other? The nuclear name.
Nuclear, yeah.
And then you can sort of extend that to a lot of things that have just been like ridiculously high flying. Like, it was to an extent HIMS. Like, there were a lot of like big time continuation pullbacks. One of the things to watch, especially today, is okay, well, what are the things that bounced after they had a couple of days down, like extreme days down, like IONQ, like heavy to the downside, and then no bounce whatsoever. If you can find ones that continue that move down, I'm talking about your runners, and that were bouncing today, I think those could be good for, you know, a couple of days worth of strength. But this does not fall into that bucket. Like, I thought maybe this would have done a rounded bottom breakout, but you know, that's a good thing about looking for something to set up on a break. Is when it doesn't set up, you have no business being long. Bad day for IONQ, good day for Ronnie.
All right, guys, yeah, RANI, what a move up here, 42%. Multi-day runner, though, guys. This one was really running in the pre-market on Friday, continued in regular market hours, did the same thing today. Pre-market highs around 230, and that's where we found ourselves right now. We're trying to hold the pre-market high, but here's the reason this thing is moving up. They announced a collaboration and license agreement with Chugai Pharmaceuticals for the development and commercialization of an oral product. The company announced an oversubscribed $60.3 million private placement. Continues to run, guys, from Friday. Higher highs, higher lows.
Yeah, Ronnie's loving VWAP right now. Unfortunately, it's loving it a bit too much because it's not moving. Like if you look at the last, let's zoom in for you. If you look at the last, call it half an hour, pretty much, it's got a 7-cent range. When going into that move, like, it fell 40 pennies, which is a pretty good chunk for a $2 stock, and is now just loving VWAP. It also coincides with that Friday high right in here. So there's a potential for a breakout. I would say on Friday, just in the afternoon, when it was going sideways and tried to break out right in here, like, I remember we got the fit, we were long at like $1.90 something, and then it filled us at 209, right? The next print was like stopping out break even. It was just within seconds, and it was a bamboozle, and then after it's like, get away from it because you don't want any part of it, and then it just fell for the rest of the afternoon slowly. So even if it breaks out, I think you look for the scalp break there, volume starting to fall off, and then after the fact, you know, like, if you get like a one and done this breaking out, you know, just maybe go away from it the second it loses a bit. After what happened on Friday, I trust it for like one move and then walk away.
Okay, so here's, I'm trying to send this to the screen. Oh, it's not working. Send super chats. Sent. No.
I just tried to.
Not
it didn't work.
Working. All right, our thing is not working, so I'm just going to call it down because we do have a super chat right here. Alert to Fabian right now. That's chat thing we have is not working. All right, Sean, thoughts on QBTS? So, yeah, I mean, we just talked about this. I don't, like I said, man, I don't know if anybody else got out of a lot of these frothy names. I got out of pretty much the only frothy name I think that I have. Obviously, all the weed names are down to nothing. SMR, I'm completely out of that one, and I was pretty lucky to get where we got out on that as well. But yeah, look, man, QBTS down 11%. What do I think about all these stocks? Honestly, I think all these stocks have a lot more to go, man. I mean, I'm not. It's not about being negative on the stock itself. I think I don't know enough about Rigetti, QBTS, IONQ, all of that to know anything. But what I do know is this move happened already. And if you go and look up their EPS, don't look too hard, you won't find one. I just think that this is all a lot of excitement, honestly, about what is to come. And I understand that there are businesses where we, foresee opportunity, like in Amazon, like a Tesla 20 years ago, all these kind of things. Will QBTS, will this D-Wave, will Rigetti, will IONQ be something at some point? Yes, but do they deserve the market cap that they have now? Probably not. So I think that when people are going to look to sell some of their positions and get out and realize profits, I think that this has already started, and I think it's just the beginning here in this. So I don't really like it at all until at least here. I mean, this is only goes back to, this is 2.5 weeks ago. You were 24, you doubled in a week. So I think there's a lot of pullback. And I mean, we talk about being greedy and being a pig. This was $1 a year ago today, basically. So you're up, you're up 40 times in a year. So I think it's a lot. And I did the same thing with SMR. When SMR was like acting like a normal stock, I was buying 11s and 12s, and I only bought it once. So like I said, I think it was more down over here on this kind of a break. We did sell some like up here the first couple times, and then we were sold some again, not trying to be too greedy, got some out on the way up, and then we just topped out at 57 and actually got out last week right there near 50, exactly at 57. I could show you the trade fill, but all the way back in. So for me, it's like, again, another name that could be something, and I do believe that, in the long run, nuclear, something's going to have to power this revolution, and it will be nuclear, some sort of nuclear base.
You know what sets them apart?
But I don't know what sets them apart. But I think $33, $34 is a good spot. If I can get out at 57 and back in at 34, I mean, come on, man, it doesn't take a genius to understand that some of these names are really frothy. So
I've been on SMR for a while, and I'm still holding. Like, I've trimmed a couple times, but I'm never getting it all out. Like, I'm holding on to a third of what I bought. What's weird about the interesting thing about SMR is like how many times everyone's all said about OKLO. The difference between SMR and OKLO, SMR actually has approval from their design for small modular reactor actually has approval, whereas OKLO doesn't even have that yet. They've applied for it. And look, neither one of them is selling anything just yet. No. But at least they've at least hit a major hurdle's been done. So like to me, if you're picking one, like give me the one that has something that if they figure it, they can sell it. The second because they've got approvals. OKLO and the administration right now is pushing to get these done. So they want it to happen. They all want them to succeed, and there's going to be a demand for it. But SMR just has, to me, like a little bit of a head start. Anyways, it doesn't really. Yeah,
I mean, I sold it 30% ago. So I mean, looking to maybe take advantage of a 30% dip.
And you can. Right? And you can play this a lot of ways. Yeah. Like you can play this with companies that don't, what's the best word? I can say it positively. With companies that do have solid revenue streams. I was going to say you can play it without playing it in frothy, crappy, or whatever type companies. But you can play this with Vistra, and you can play this with Constellation, and you can play this with GE Vernova. But you also have to consider most of us. Okay, well, if you own the Qs, what's your exposure to AI right now? Pretty large, right? Like all of the hyperscalers, the data centers, you're talking like Nvidia, Meta, all the other hyperscalers, Broadcom. Then you throw in, okay, well then if you have that, like myself, because I do, and then you're also in something like GEV and SMR, it's like, oh, okay. Well, you start to realize that if you make a top, you got to be trimming something. Like to me, I trim this, and this is the one, like GE Vernova. Like I don't want it to break down. But if this breaks down and sees like the 500s or the 480s, like somewhere in here, 10, 15% down, that's a dip buy. And it looks to me like it's coming. Again, it just looks like that on the chart. But, you know, if you never take any profit, then you never take any profit.
Right. I mean, and that's, I mean, exactly. So that's why I was saying about this SMR, like, you got to ring the register, right? And I mean, even back into here, like Neil just said, trying to buy some GE Vernova. That's a name that I like to get into as well. But okay, yeah, someone in the chat said, you know, one and done today. And yeah, I mean, that was basically what I was doing. And we're still in it. So I'm glad we weren't one and completely done. As Tesla, we reloaded it 3 times. And it is a good one right there. So we're pretty happy with that. But we're going to look for some more here as well. I mean, as I look, try to find some scanners tricking around right here. We have the trade rate one more time here. So I don't know what MXF is. I'm going to assume it's nothing. Some of the, well, Mexico Fund. Okay, so some of these things just start blasting off because they're doing different volumes than normal. So that's not it. There's Rigetti. So RGTI looks like it's going to be something to talk about at some point here with a nice move down. That's $43. Looking to maybe now find a bottom on Rigetti. Again, like, I know that I was talking negatively about the quantum space, and it's just about the valuation. It's not about trading opportunities. I mean, I also don't think AMD deserves where it is either right now, but it is up there. So AMD right now kicking around. AMD, Joe did a thing about options there today. I was talking about 250. So I still think 250 could get hit. It was November expiry, so maybe the last Friday there in October. But, you know, that looks like a great little break opportunity right here for AMD off a nice rip. And we'll see where it goes. But I think that Joe might be close to something here with that 250. So we'll see if that can come into play again. Wouldn't mind trying to buy some of this. I sold some on Thursday, so this day rate, so the second rate up here somewhere, in and around 238, 239. So that doesn't look like a good sale right now, right? But again, we're raising capital, and we actually went into Bitcoin at 108
That's
flat.
my price.
So that was good. So we did that, yeah. And then, okay, so Big Bear AI dancing around here a little bit. We can have a quick look to see what the biggest of the bears are doing there. Shout out to my brigade as well. Looks like their volume starting to pick up a little bit now into the close. So gets back into 740, 750. We'll always look at Big Bear AI. I mean, this name, again, has been holding 7. This reminds me of the Army. And, you know, Open Door has been holding 7 as well. So I kind of think this is a possibility here. If you're looking for something on Open Door, 7 would be a good one there. Apple, like, let's give it up for Apple, man. You really got to have diamond hands and believe in this name. Apple, great stock, obviously moving forward. We'll see where it goes, but I really like Apple, and here it is right here, taking out everything today on better than expected iPhone shipments and deliveries. iPhone 17 kicking it. You wait till you hear more about these AirPods. These AirPods are, I mean, everyone in my family owns them, and they're just awesome. Even if you have kids, it's like the quality. They drop them, they step on them, they lose them, everything. Absolutely great product there. I don't need to tell everybody that. Look, wow, this one's an interesting one. We haven't talked about it at all today. I haven't heard anything about CoreWeave. I mean,
7%.
Yeah, CoreWeave down, getting hit again here. So again, I don't know, Adair, if there's any story here. I don't think so. I mean, Oracle's getting hit, CoreWeave. Oracle's getting hit today.
Yeah, I guess it's true. That makes sense.
Yeah, I think just the networking side of things here and using like the uses of these GPUs and whatnot. I mean, CoreWeave has big clients, and yes.
I would guess it's just Oracle sympathy. That was my take anyway. It has no individual catalyst of its own.
Okay, so you and I very similar.
On Friday, there was stories about.
Oh, was there? Okay.
No. Well, the stories on Friday was more
Uber.
about major shareholders telling them to reject that Coors deal.
Yes, they should actually.
Yeah,
that Coors.
But like I was gonna say, like that's actually probably positive relative to like a lot of times you don't want the big acquisition to go through. So that's Coors. I actually didn't check to see how Coors reacted off of that. I
think you could buy Coors if they let that deal go right there for Coors. So what I was thinking about was I think it's a great deal for CoreWeave. I said that the wrong way. I think that, you know, like whatever price these guys agreed on, if you see what's been happening to the names in the space right now, this stock would be like way higher, I feel like, than where it is if they did have some sort of, if they didn't have a deal here with CoreWeave. And I don't even know what the price of this deal is. I feel like it's trading above it right now.
It's all stock.
That's all stock. Okay.
That's sort of the thing. It's all stock. All right. Looks like we just had a trend break in front of VWAP. So look, I've been in IBIT I said with the term I like to use, and it's just a term I use, like when something trends down, if you make money long, I like call it like getting away with it. Like you have to try to, like VWAP has managed to hold, and then I just went for a couple of, is it 15 minutes? No, this chart's fine. If I go back further into like a 15 minute, you actually see more significance with this price area on IBIT, about 62.5. But to the point, like it goes down to 62.5, bottoming tail wick. I missed this one on the bottoming tail wick and then just took it like breaking out of the consolidation, but I'm out. Every time it's failed underneath VWAP. Bitcoin's actually weak today, so I think like taking it out in front of the volume weighted average price makes sense. I don't know if I'll get back in another time at 62.5, but just kind of going to the well as many times as possible when you do see it, when and if you do see it set up. Just one note, Beyond Meat didn't get to 170, but it's already giving it up. This could head all the way back to VWAP itself. Oh, I find this one interesting. You were just sort of talking about something trading and not making sense in terms of being a value. I'm gonna throw this one up there. And this is a penny stock, and I'm legitimately having myself thoughts about this. So like the more I talk about it out loud, is just to convince myself what I want to do here. Robinhood is buying WonderFi for 36 cents per share. Every single, like, there've been multiple like regulators saying, okay, now clear here in Canada and this and that, and it's supposed to close by the end of this year at 36 cents a share. It's spending all day trading at like 31, and like I'm asking myself, which I'm going to do. Like I spent all afternoon trying to find something that would be negative for this deal closing, and I can't find anything. So to me, you're getting almost 20%. I'm gonna pick something up and convince myself not to go all in and just nibble maybe like 20% of what I want to buy, and then and the idea here would literally be to just hold it until the close. Like it's a weird one to me because it fell apart like last week when the market. By the way, I do day trade it, so I just take the spread. But when it fell apart, when the market fell apart on Wednesday, I believe it was. Yeah, it was on Wednesday. It was that heavy down day, and this stock for no reason just lost 10% and then came right back in. It was almost like free money buying it. And so this doesn't make sense to me. And sometimes inefficiencies can give you potential profits. So that's what I'm hoping here. Just can't see a reason why the stock is doing as weakly as it is. But back to Beyond Meat, which I'd like to see if it can get into VWAP. It doesn't seem to want to. The whole dollar trade, that one's gone for now. I think you're playing off like the pre-market highs here at $1.20 and into the volume-weighted average price. Very curious. Very curious as to what most people who are holding this long are thinking. Are they are they just like, I'm going to hold it for a couple of days? Is there going to be that event where everyone just sort of banks that profit? Because remember, this was 65 cents. So it's a double up even having pulled back. Like you're 60% up if this gets to the volume weighted average price. Like I just smell a lot of people that are interested in some profit taking. Maybe one more bounce before looking for the short. Because I thought 170 and it didn't curl at 170.
There was a story about, here. I want to see Boeing because Boeing, okay, so it's up nicely today, up 2%. I mean, Boeing today received federal approval from the Federal Aviation Administration to raise, here it is right here. This is Sharif's morning note. We can see what it's doing right here, but just in here, you can't really see this anyways, but I'm just kind of reading all this stuff that's been listed in here. Again, so 737 MAX, right? That plane's had a lot of problems, obviously, but right into here, 42 planes per month now is their max that they're allowed to produce, up from 38. So I don't even know how the FAA comes up with these things, but that should be good. I mean, most of the money, as we said here, the company receives most of its payments upon delivery of said planes. So, I don't know how that's going to affect this quarter, but moving forward, if they can go 42 planes and actually get them done there with any sort of certainty, then I think moving forward, you probably get an upgrade there in their forecasts, right? I mean, if you can now do 10% more planes, generally speaking, your revenue should be close to up 10% on that. Plus, obviously, the planes getting delivered high margin once wheels down. So I really like that there for Boeing, and we'll see if it's now found a base here, taking out the top, maybe incoming. But for me right now, I'm going to wait on Boeing and just see, you know, if this can get even a little bit lower. I'm not super excited about too many of these names here today, but I'm trying to find some trades moving forward. The only trade that I feel like I could have had here today would have been these TQs, and I think we're getting close to even putting, even putting something on even right now. I'd like to see it. It just broke through the 200. I like to see it come back up. That would be 108.20. I mean, we're not too far away from that. That's only 10 cents now, so we definitely could come back into this area. The only thing is, this is a 1 minute chart, so if I still think there's an opportunity. I mean, this is only 30. This is only 20 cents from now. I like the short against the high of the day. Just thinking that there might not be any more to come today, right? We have Netflix tomorrow, we have Tesla Wednesday, and some of the bigger trades coming later in the week and next week with the bigger tech names, like the big mega cap ones that we all know about. So I was gonna say, like, if we can get anything to 108.40 or so, I think that's a great short in and around here using 108.50. Like, gives yourselves 10, 20 cents worth of room to slam this thing back down. I like that. I'm gonna sit at 108.30 here on the TQs. And what I mean by sitting on that is just hitting offer and then going up there, sitting there with a couple shares and wait to see if we can get that fill. So I was actually talking with my friend Phil today as well. I know I always say that joke, but I can actually show you WhatsApp. That is.
Everyone knows a Phil.
It's a new, yeah, exactly. It's a new friend of mine there. He's
actually, it's not a very
from the Lee side area. No, it's not very common.
It's not. It really isn't the common.
The only two Phils. Oh, I know Phils from your family.
Phils.
Yeah, I know families. I know them from yours, but the other two are just from hockey. So, anyways. KSS, we're hearing Coles popping a little bit here. They were part of a buyout there, so I will wish Arun and everybody else out there a happy Diwali. So shout out to everybody that is celebrating there. The principal at my kids' school is big into Diwali, so I think the kids are doing something today, including having some samosa at school and everything like that. So that's a big celebration. Where my kids go to a very diversified, multicultural school, so Diwali is definitely celebrated over there. So I want to say shout out to everybody there. Keep those lights down, you know what I mean? There in the night. Sometimes you get those fireworks going, and
they always happen.
Yeah, it's a
even when they outlaw them, it doesn't.
That's what I was going to say. It's a big time party, so watch out for those bylaw officers.
My daughter loves it.
I hate the people that say, "Oh, my dog doesn't like fireworks." Okay, I mean, I don't know. It's not. They're not really for you or for your dog, but as
long as you be safe.
I get it. Yeah.
You keep hearing these stories.
Oh yeah, I have a story like that. We were doing fireworks a couple of years ago, and next thing I know, the fireworks that I was in charge of were going flying everywhere. So we had to be careful. You had to put them. I always put them in like a flower pot or something, you know, something to give them some sturdiness. But yeah, apparently it was not that sturdy, needless to say. Okay, no one was hurt in the in that, but that was fun. Tesla right now ripping. We said that there's an opportunity for Tesla to rip here in the afternoon. It looks like it's going right now $4 back in the money on a reloaded. That's fruit salad. What's up, fruit salad? On a reloaded position right there. My head is not superimposed on something there. That was actually me reloading. I remember we went to Vegas. It was M16s and AK-57. I don't know what it was.
It's 47s.
47s. Come on, man. I was using the 57, you know.
And apparently Adara as well.
And apparently we have to go to Adara at some point. Well, let's go now.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any news here on KSS. I do want to let you know here with Coles, there is a spike higher, but I checked, and as of 2 minutes ago when I looked, the most recent post tagging Coles on social media, or KSS, was 18 hours ago. So there's not even really any social media excitement predicating this move. I will say, given the move that we've had here in Beyond Meat, some people are attributing that to a short squeeze, so this could be another sign of an influx of retail attention. Before I send you back to the guys, I do want to take a moment to thank our friends at Beta Pro by Global X Canada. We have some exciting news out of Canada for the sophisticated traders on the stream. Beta Pro by Global X Canada, Canada's largest provider of leverage inverse and inverse leverage ETFs, has just launched 6 new triple leverage ETFs, offering 3x bull and 3x bear exposure to the S&P TSX 60, semiconductors, and U.S. Treasuries. Even better, they're offering a special fee rebate, dropping management fees to just 65 basis points until December 31st, 2025. Plus, the U.S.-focused strategies use currency hedging, offering the potential for pure performance exposure. So if you are a tactical, sophisticated trader who is looking to amplify your performance, check out betapro.ca/3xdaily to learn more. Back to you.
I'm out here at 446. Yeah, I think fireworks are so expensive, man. I've banned them from our house. That's for sure. And I remember that story. I saw Dara in the chat. I remember she said that story one time on the Late Show there, where her dog ran away, but managed to come back. Like knew how to go all the way back. Like it was miles and miles. This dog traveled.
That's crazy.
It's like a 50-minute drive-ish to the cottage from the house. He'd never been to the cottage before. We only had him for 6 weeks. He ran away for 6 weeks and showed up roughly a block away from our house. But he had a chip in his ear. That's how we were able to find him. But yeah, wild story.
Wow.
And that, it is a true story.
That's crazy.
Definitely.
Oh, Mr. Westermeyer.
we just got out more at 446 there. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
So finally getting into hoodie weather here. Thanks again for the merch. We need to think of a new bet when the Chiefs slaughter the Bills. Look, regardless, it doesn't matter how well the Chiefs are playing or what the Bills look like. Whenever they play each other, Ms. Westermeyer, we'll put a bet on. I just don't know. Last year, we did the hoodie thing, and it took a really ridiculously long time to get in the merch. The fulfillment was like really bad, so apologies. I had nothing to do with it. That was entirely YouTube, man. Like I put the order in, and it was like literally just took months to get that merch in. But it is hoodie weather. As you can see, we're both in hoodies because it's fall, last I checked. And what was falling almost more than anything else, after looking at like IONQ and a couple of other charts, ETH's chart doesn't look as bad when you put it in that perspective, but it's up 3.8%. Percentages don't matter in a 24-hour market. But after getting out at IBIT in front of VWAP, like if this curls, I'm looking at ETH actually. Like this is the weakest of the, well, okay, fine. It's just of the two. It's the weaker of the two. I can't make it more dramatic than that because I'm not looking at anything else but ETH and Ethereum and Bitcoin. But I see this as a potential trend break right when Bitcoin's at the volume weighted average price, and this has been selling off most of the day. So just looking for a trend break on ETH, and then I'm gonna pop into a short. It's occurred to me, I don't think I've ever shorted this. And I shouldn't just assume that we have locates on. We
must.
Do. I'm sure we do. But I've never actually shorted this stock.
Yeah, we do.
You just got to double check. Every now and then there's like ETFs that you can't get, but ETH on a trend break, not really doing anything parabolic. If it were to go parabolic, certainly the volume weighted average price or possibly like 30.15 if it were to break from here. But I think it's about to break trend. So we're going to go short there. Jameson asked about PALL. What up, Jameson? I need your namesake for the Lions to go off for like, I don't know, like 10 for 250 or some nonsense. And I will not be watching that game tonight for obvious reasons, but I need it to happen. The problem with these is when you go parabolic this way and then everything that did that dip on Friday, I just feel like continuations abound. If it doesn't get back above 140, so like this prior close, right? Then it's breakdown, doesn't get back, and then I think you're on the back end of the trend. I felt that about Rigetti on Friday. Specifically, the one that I traded was ASTS, which did the fail break and then the continuation down day. And even this one just still looks weak. So all these parabolic movers that made tops last week, there's the ones that regained support and the ones that didn't. So Pally, to me, didn't regain support, so it's hard for me to get bullish on it, unfortunately.
All right. We just to let you guys know we have about 30% left, but we take another 10% right here. We actually was able to hold for a nice move on Tesla. So once that came up to 4, remember we told you we were going to be at 445 and I canceled that order, so we went to 446. So we wound up getting the 446 and we got a couple outs there on VWAP as well. So Tesla still continues to work. We haven't looked at Rivian at all today. $13. Yeah, not much going on there for Rivian. Pretty flat there. What a bad stock, honestly. This has been over the last little while. I mean, what just basically a waste. It's pretty choppy. I mean, I guess it's been okay for swing trades if it gets to the sort of tops or bottoms of the range. I think Rivian's been okay, but to sit in this has been pretty tough. Big waste, honestly. Like this is February of 24. So we're actually under those levels. And I'm not. I just kind of went back to where the stock where my chart ends is all the way down into here, but you can see it's just kind of in the middle. So stuck here without much. I think if he can come back in, no wonder why Randy likes his stock down at a 10.50 or whatever it is. We had sold some at 18, but it was this level. I didn't get anything out over the last little while. Should have also got out there. But again, a very small piece. I'm trying to get rid of, which is why I got out of SMR and all these kind of stocks. I'm trying to get rid of all these little pieces that I have because I have way too many names. But another name that I have is Uber, and this one's been working off of that $100 level and hasn't been really that great, man. I mean, it's been a lot of downside pressure for Uber as we get ready for robo-taxi and all of that kind of stuff. So we'll have to wait to see. I still really like Uber. I mean, Uber Eats still, I think, is, you know, a big driving force around here anyways. But, you know, I don't know if I think it's probably the most popular food delivery service in Canada. Like, we have Skip the Dishes. DoorDash, I don't really think is as popular here. You guys in Canada can let me know. I don't.
I haven't used DoorDash.
Yeah, I think once you're in Uber, like, the thing is, plus, because the Uber One membership also gets you the cabs and all that kind of stuff, I think there's some decent advantages over there.
I missed it.
Yeah, go ahead. There was
apologies to Be Free. We had a super chat from Be Free. That site's still not working. Oh, I'm not seeing the super chats on there. I put it up. Oh, there we go. Systems down everywhere. Gov, biz, brokers, news. We can place the blame on AWS, right? So AWS. And they said the last updates have been that most of the issues have been worked through, but lots of systems have been down all day. Adara?
I was just going to add here, yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people that I follow here on X that run streams related to the market. They said that it seems to be working now for them, or at least it's better. So I just want to echo your point there. It seems mostly resolved. I haven't seen a statement from AWS, though, in a few hours.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, but this is not the first time something like this has happened. Ultimately,
not be the last.
No, 1,000,000% will not be the last. And Amazon, it's weird because it's almost as if what happens here is everyone gets reminded of just how important these guys are, right? It's like when so many things, like they have an outage and everything goes down, it's like, well, why would Amazon be up? Well, some of it's technical, some of it's that the market's bouncing and recovering, so why wouldn't Amazon, after bouncing off the earnings, like earnings support bounced on a dime on Friday, or like, actually, I can say because it was almost like 210. It was 211 that earnings supported bounced. So this could just be continuation off of that. But to me, it's such a reminder for all of us just how intertwined. And if you're one of the big cloud names and you have an outage like this, then yeah, there's going to be some pain. But we're fortunate we never had any issues. And I know there was a lot of pain for anyone that couldn't trade or had incorrect account balances and all that stuff. That is an absolute pain in the butt. From what we're hearing, most of it seems to be resolved. Like Webull was having issues as well. That's right back. So Webull got right back into those highs, up 3%. Everything just seems to want to bounce. So if you're, like to me, I'm looking for short and something relatively weak. That's why I went over to ETH for this potential trend break here to head back to the downside right when Bitcoin is at that volume weighted average price. So if there's any symbols, I'm going to restart this. Like market's not moving a ton. So let's just get on here and, there we go.
See what's
let's get a fresh start. So we'll do a fresh start. Remember, type $, and if you just put a symbol in before I did this, then just type it again. So just type $. I'll do ETH because that's what I happen to be looking at, ETHA. But I see Nvidia, CRM, Salesforce is one we haven't talked about. That could be making bottom. LAC, Lithium Americas. We have not mentioned LAC. It's weird, like LAC, Open. You talked about Open earlier, at least, but Lithium America is not something we mentioned in there. I feel like this is slower than normal, but yeah. So we'll come back to this in a few minutes. But I do see CRM at top of the list. Lithium America is up like everything else here today, but the daily chart doesn't look good. And this was to that point. It didn't matter what sector you were in. If you were a squeeze type name last week, it's like you made a top. Whether you made that top on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, you topped out one of those days. And some stocks have gotten back to support and other stocks have not. Like LAC would be an example of one that most certainly has not, unfortunately.
We said that there was we're now 550 in the money.
Another one.
Right now, what props up, like we were saying. Again, because we had said that Tesla was the one that had a chance to go. So now we have 20% left. as we took something out here at 446. We talked about that and trying to go higher. I'm waiting at 448.50s. So I'm $2 higher right now. So we'll wait to see if that's going upside there. Netflix tomorrow has earnings. I mean, Netflix, wow, what a story this name is. The WWE factor, man. I mean, football, you know, you're going to start to see them during, I know they have Christmas games, but also probably more during Boxing Day is the day after for us. I meant Black Friday is the words, and you know, those Thursday games. I think that Netflix has one of those as well. Amazon into different streaming. Amazon got into NHL. Of course, they're streaming Monday nights. Neil and I were talking about earlier. So Netflix will probably get there. They got the big properties with WWE. They're also into, bigly right now into video games and things like that, trying to get that number figured out. And then, of course, with K-pop Demon Hunter going to go into theaters, I think it's over 400 AMC theaters. You know, get ready for that to be. You know, I think that's a good.
They can get one of those a year.
Yeah, and they could, right? I think they can get a couple of those. Even the Taylor Swift ones, those go into theaters. She has a couple other things happening. So if Netflix can sign some deals, even for concerts and things, like there's a lot of upside in live. And, you know, I think that Netflix has showed their ability to really go down and throw down for those events. We saw Apple with F1, Netflix with the boxing and Jake Paul and all that kind of stuff getting involved there as well. And the numbers that Netflix puts up on that, the Tyson Paul fight was huge. The Paul, whoever fight he did, and was pretty big as well. Those females, Serrano and whatnot, those were really big fight numbers as well. UFC and all that. Like, there's a lot going on for Netflix. So I think that, you know, those buying opportunities, you might not get to that. We'll see what their earnings look like tomorrow on any kind of a miss. I think we look for lower bids there on Netflix and take them. So 200 period is $1,100. We'll look to see that. Wow. As we talk, maybe the more I talk, the more this continues to go. But like, this is the only position that we have on right now, and it's a banger for me on Tesla. So still trying to look for something. I mean, I see right here the TQs. I can see the Nasdaq is thinking about a short again, and we talked about if we were able to get something around 30, we should take it. So let's try. I'm going to try this here near the high of the day. We'll take some 25s if I'm able to get it. So now I'm sitting there offering 25, so there it goes. So it rips through us, so we don't have to pay for that trade. We actually get paid there by adding liquidity. I was going to give this just 30 cents. Like basically up into that high, 108.52. I think, you know, if we're right and the market does continue to fall down a little bit here, we should be able to reap some kind of benefit on this. So let's wait to see if there is a little bit of a pull down here for the TQs. We'll go short there. We might maximum up like 1 unit. And just to give you guys an idea, if I have 1 unit and this breaks 108.52, let's just say my average price is going to be around 40, which probably is where we'll offer now. So we'll see about that. We'll have given back maybe 5% of what we've made on Tesla on the day. So this is not going to be something that we're, you know, going too hard on. But again, being up 4%, remember it's triple levered. And we've seen the Nasdaq really try to drift into the close. So very, very aware of where the risk lies in this particular trade, right? And I think the risk definitely lies in the short. It's not, we could easily see that top again. So we want to be prepared to stop out if it gets too aggressive through that top. So that top right now is 52s. Let's just stop out if it gets to 60, and let's average in if this gets around here into 40. So that's going to be my play right now. And yeah, I mean, I see you there. Why Brothers United? This could, I'm just, you know, there's an hour left. I know it's a trading show. I don't have to put on anything. We're $6 in the money on Tesla long. And really, that's where we lie. Right now, if the market continues to blast up, the money that I'll probably make on Tesla will offset, but I'm trying to make all the winning trades here. So I've only made one trade today, one idea, and that was Tesla, and it's huge. Right, so I'm glad that that's there, but let's see if we can do something similar with the TQs. So I'm going to offer around 40s, get the fill there, have an average price then of 32.50, and then we'll ride up to 60, 30 cents worth of a hit. It's already planned out, and that's going to be my trade here, getting into the close. But definitely a risky one, shorting such a hot market, but I'm here for it.
Well, it's not, like, it's up, but it's not moving now, like, parabolically. Like, that's sort of the thing. Like, I'm looking at a short in ETH. ETH is relatively weak. I don't care about that 4%. That's very, very deceiving. But it's still holding the trend up. So as long as it holds that trend up, then I'm just in wait mode. Like, this is the one that I want, so I wait for it either to get to VWAP or I wait for it to break that trend. CoreWeave and CRM are still at the top of the list. I just wanted to show you guys. CoreWeave number 1, CRM number 2. Sorry, at the time I looked, CRM was number 1. So I was kind of prepared to go over that one. It's Salesforce time.
Yeah, I love Salesforce.
Like right now, well, okay, maybe not like at this particular price. I'm talking about today. Today, Salesforce, this is, it flat out cannot fail the 50 period at this point, right? Like, it's well above, like it would have to drop $11 in the next hour or so to not close above the 50 period moving average. And it's done it before, but you just haven't had that second salvo, like close, fail, close, fail. Well, this time it's going to actually close above considerably after making that 230 bottom. Well, and I said this last week, that if that happens, I'm going to buy Salesforce, and then we're going to swing into this one. It has sort of an obvious 250 to 300 thing going on, where like this high is around 300, and then you got 250 in here, and then a 225 bottom. So a little symmetry there as well. Like you're 10% to the bottom, and you're 20% to the resistance level. Call it 10% to the 50 period or the 200 period moving average as well. So I like this one for a swing. CoreWeave, I don't really have positive thoughts on this one. Sorry. No, I wanted to find something nice for Core, but I can't. Like, CoreWeave has somebody selling at 140. Like, just look at it at $140. Like, somebody's selling at 140, and it's been failing every time it's failing badly every time it breaks. But look at the reversal candle. Look at the reversal candle off 140. And then you put things into categories on the day the market recovered. It's at the low of the day. So penalty box still, maybe you catch something off the 50 period. If anything, looking at this setup, like this should have been a short today. This is set up the same way Astus was set up on Friday, and that was a good short. Well, I think this one's a penalty box for me. But CRM's a different story. I like CRM. And it looks like ETH just broke that trend line, so I'm gonna pop into ETH. Can't use stops for this kind of thing, unfortunately. You just have to, like, you see it break the trend line like manually. And then I'll jump in. My stop goes to the prior bar high, which is at like 310. So I just put it a couple of cycles above that. Did not already have a stop in. So I'm gonna throw my stop in with that trend break. But yeah, like CRM, not a fan of CoreWeave right now. Really don't like what's going on with that chart. And the other thing is, even if you do like CoreWeave, let's just say you like to buy this dip. It's not bad. It's just that with a brick wall at 140, like temporarily you're looking at 10% from here. It's like, well, if your long's here, where's your out? If it's the 50 period, that's, you're looking to lose 10% to make 10%. Not a huge fan of that. I think you let this one come back in a little bit. Until Oracle finds some strength, this probably won't find strength either.
Yeah, no, I was, hell, Brendan's off Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Ooh, Brendan.
Ooh.
Big vacation coming up.
Brando, Monday too.
Impressive, Brendan. Impressive.
Impressive.
All right, so I just put another stop for my last. I only have 20% left. We talked about that. There was an out right there. I put my other out right here, 444. So if we break below the 200 period moving average, we're gonna drop out of that trade there. Okay, so that's gonna be that. I mean, as Tesla continues to go higher, I'm still at 448.50, so we'll see if that play comes through. Now, I think Weeble's trying to break higher, but how much time is left? 3:08. Okay, there's still lots of time left here today, so we'll be able to see if there's anything going on with Weeble right now. To me, the weakness is over here. Nvidia is starting to break down a little bit, so this is a problem for sure. You're coming into these levels. This is the low of the day. I mean, obviously, right off the open, we scrambled a bit and got into 182. So I don't want to say this is, I said this is the low of the day, but, giving that breakout, and right now it's kind of the low since 10:30. We'll see if it can hold this area. If it does not, then I do think that we revisit this 182.50. Nvidia in a little bit of trouble right now in this area. So be very, very careful with that. I told you about my Tesla stop out is 444 for just another half out on that level as well. The other name I'm looking around here because I did want to talk about Nvidia. making that move. Apple, I mean, often when you get stocks that are near days high and all-time highs, you are going to get a little bit of a pullback, but Apple's not doing that really at all. It broke through 260 right there early, did pull back into 258, then eventually some pullbacks until now. It really just wants to hold out. So 260, 250, if we could move down $1, that'd be good. I mean, my short would really be printing on the futures if that were to happen. So we'll figure that out right now. And shout out to you, Sebastian. And shout out to Ozan, and there's Ozan right there. Because, yeah, man, GDX was getting hit there, I noticed on Friday. But GLD today, wow. I'm glad this is in my portfolio. However, not glad at the percentage of it. Probably maybe 1 or 2% of my portfolio is in gold. And that is way off now. I mean, this is like making Bitcoin look silly. This is making everything right now just look real silly, breaking out, just making
monthly
new highs.
Oh,
yeah, I
fine.
know. It just keeps on getting going here. So I don't want to think that this is going to continue, but wow. And then I have to throw over to Neil, but GDX right here as well. Good movement today, it looks like, but it had a great move on Friday to the downside, to the point where I was hoping to come in today and maybe pick something up. We went from 86 down into 78, but then you get a nice little bounce again. So the gold miners, I like. You get a dividend here as well, so 74 or so maybe. I was doing a little bit of work. And here comes right now, hopefully we can get a move down in the market finally, as we are short the overall market and long on Tesla.
And we can go long on empowering women to change the world, everybody. And you can make it happen because the Woman Boss trains and mentors women and girls across Africa to lead, innovate, and thrive. Since 2018, we've reached over 10,000 women and girls, and your donation today can launch the next great entrepreneur. Scan the QR code on screen in front of you. Join us in building a brighter future. Can't say enough. I mean, come on, if you can't get behind that, then why not? We talked about, I got a couple of questions, and look, we're all about answering your questions and giving opinions, and sometimes it's not the one you want to hear. I wasn't all that bullish. I couldn't say anything good about CoreWeave, and I can't say anything good about Unity when I was asked several times about it, because I love bottoming tail candles for reversals. That said, on their own, it's not enough. Unity, it's flat today, so it's not really doing much of anything in this recovery. That's step one. Step two, distinct downward trend. That's good, but it might not close breaking back out, unfortunately. In fact, it feels like it doesn't have any desire to. I think this is a stock where until it breaks that trend, why not just be waiting to the really significant level out in front of this 30 to 28? It's showing you something down there. So went into resistance. It's underneath the 50. The downtrend is very much intact. I don't like to guess that setup holds. I like to see long setups after the bottoming tail wick there. ETH is finally, it broke the trend. Going to try to place them out in front of 29.85, right? So we got short here just above 30. It just tagged the 29.2s. So let's see if this can play down a little bit further here on ETH. Just a little bit of a trend break. If you're looking at IBIT, it did the same thing. It broke trend. I just felt like Ethereum is a little bit weaker, and it's underneath that. The other thing I should mention, ETHA is at 30, or now underneath 30, but that's also rejecting 4,000. We're at 39, we're at 39.6. So underneath that 4,000 level as well here on ETH, playing a bit of a trend break to the downside. Adara, what do you have for us?
So to let you guys know, on X at TTV Research, I just posted not only our calendar for tomorrow's earnings and events, but I also posted our implied moves calendar for tomorrow morning's earnings. So in case you guys are not quite sure what this is, basically during peak earnings season, which is of course starting basically this week, I'll post these whenever there are significant earnings names on watch. What I'll do is I'll post the expected time of the releases based on earnings whispers data, and then I'll also post the implied move. Now, these implied moves change, which is why I try to post them as close as I can to the day of the earnings. Now, usually, again, I'll do this on the biggest earnings names, but I'm very pleased to announce I already have calendars roughly prepared for this entire week. So you're going to get at least one of these every day this week. Again, check it out on X at TTV Research. Because, as I mentioned, of the fact that these implied moves are subject to change, I'll be updating the implied moves and posting them basically right before the earning day. So expect these around 3:10, 3:30 p.m. every day this week for the following morning and afternoon. Back to you, again, X at TTV Research.
Thank you, Dara. Looking forward to it. Of course, remember, tonight in the aftermarket, we will cover everything that you need. We'll have Michael Noss come on through. We'll go over the close. We'll go over pretty much the entirety of the day in as much detail. We'll answer any questions that you guys might have. But I see one of those names that's reporting. I see UGE. Like, I see UGE. Like, this stock, and this is, like, I just think sometimes, like, you have to, like, ring the old register. Like, come on, GE with a double from April? Like, this is not Tesla. This is not Nvidia. General Electric with a double since April. This is the thing. Like, for me, I trim some Caterpillar. Like, there's certain types of stocks that you don't normally think of getting a little bit parabolic or giving you that big a move. And when they do, you just want to be able to take something off. It gives you some powder to buy some dip, maybe find some value a little bit, get yourself diversified. A lot of times what will happen as well is, like, you might just start liking other names more. And like, I think, like, an example of that might be, like, if you were over the years, like, investing in, like, the chip space, it's like you might have had Intel, and then you liked AMD, and then maybe you like Nvidia now. Like, I never really owned Intel back in the day, but I certainly AMD. It's like, well, is AMD my horse now? No, not really. So trimming some makes a heck of a lot of sense. Now, I'll admit to having trimmed underneath 230. Doesn't really matter. And now all of a sudden another all-time high, right? So it doesn't look all that great. AMD is a name. You cannot see, like, for the fact that it's in an all-time high. I did trade this one off the high today, 243. It's not following through. Like, this is, there we go, one more. This is something, it's not following through. And even this feels like it could be a fade back into VWAP. It's 3:15, only about 45 minutes left. I'm probably going to reload ETH is one of the things that I'm going to do here. And nothing is really jumping off on my scanner. Like, you got Tesla, but it's not really a crazy trade rate. Nvidia, not going crazy. CoreWeave, like, none of these are really going crazy in terms of volume. And then the small cappers that we're usually interested in this time of day. Like, you'd think there'd be a second salvo in Beyond Meat. Didn't get to VWAP. If anything, I'm still thinking that can be a potential fade. Beyond Meat's going to do 1 billion shares. 1 billion shares today. Almost an absolute lock. It's just impressive in a lot of fronts. So congratulations to anyone that sort of sniffed this one and had the gumption to hold it. I just felt it was pretty simple at the dollar level, so I decided to only trade that price. But it's going to hold. It's going to close above $1 today, barring some kind of minor miracle to the downside. I'll be looking for a double top because I'm thinking fade and profit taking this afternoon on Beyond Meat. So I'm looking for a double top setup. I'll add that. Obviously, I have ETH up here. I'm going to add that to the list and just put a level 2 up over my side. So if I see this put some topping tails at 155, or it just goes parabolic to 170, I might decide to short it off of that range. David, here it is. Dave's Silly Trades. First of all, thank you for the super chat. Every single time we get a silly trade, which is not always a silly trade, Dave. Short all quantum, CORHR, Tesla this week, long SQQQ. Who knows with Tesla guide though? Well, I mean, who knows? I can't tell you how Tesla's going to guide. We know how they have talked in the past. We know how Elon talked last time. But I'm sort of with you with the pullback and, like, the frothy names. So, like, on quantum, I can definitely agree with you on that front. Tesla's guide, I have no prediction on Tesla's guide. I'd rather just react to it.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. You know, this is the thing. Like, we're both short, but sometimes it's like the vehicle that you choose. We're lucky enough to choose the TQQs here, and it's actually, because it's triple levered, it's just going down into there. So we take a 180.50, or sorry, 108.05, and then we take a 107.99 or 98 there. Just sat down and put another bid out there to take this fill. So right now, you know, we'll say that was a good idea for now, grabbing the short. And again, you know, big time movement here, considering, you know, like, this is one of the bigger moves sort of right there in the afternoon. I mean, we did make this move before and sort of stopped around here. So let's see if now we have such a good price now. We just got out of 20%. So it was 10% each tranche there as we get a little lower. Let's put another, I'm bidding 92s as well for another one. Then we'll have out 70% left and out of 30% if we do get this 92 fill. So far, so good. This is only the second trade. I only have 2 trades today. 2 ideas basically. That short that we just put on right there. And again, like we'll be really good here today, obviously. And we only have this trade plus this trade. So yeah, I mean, the Tesla bid is good. And then obviously this, okay. I mean, now we're starting to hopefully feel some pain back into the downside. Remember where our Tesla trade is going to come out of if it does break that 444. Looks like we're going to break 445. You know what? I'm going to take a piece out right here. There we go. Now I'm going to cancel that 444 fill. So we just took it out at 445.25 there. So let's just take another piece out. So now we're small. Let's see if it wants to continue to move. I'm going to take one more piece out here as well on the NYSE, on the TQQs, which is the Nasdaq. So we'll take another bid. I'm bidding 97s. Hopefully we can get that fill. There it is for the nice move down. And now we have 60% left of this as it continues to go down. So there it is, man. Hopefully it's another good call for us right there on the Nasdaq, putting us at 2 for 2. And like how many symbols? We talk about this all the time. So I've just made two symbols today. I think you're probably a bit more than that.
Oh, always.
No, I know. I was asking.
Yeah, every single time. Yeah. 7 today. We'll go 4 out of 7 for myself. But as always, for my litmus, worst loss is actually 70% of my second best winner and half of my best winner. I always look at it that way. I like to trade setups. Like for me, if we come to the chart for
that's what I'm saying. We have different looks.
Yeah, because I like this particular, any trend break, right? So if I see a trend break, it's not, the likelihood of it happening multiple times on the same stock is pretty slim. So if you're going from a trend break to another, you're likely to have to do it on a different symbol. At the end of the day, just sort of make sure that it's a simple thing to say, but it's true. Every single trade you make, you have to look at it from what is it costing you, right? So the cost meaning your entry to your exit is what you pay. I think I consider that as like, that's what you've paid. So you get in at 30.02 and you get out. If it breaks 30.10, that's 9 cents worth of risk. I pay that. So it gets them out if it gets to 1-to-1, right? And that's what you paid to get into the trade. And as long as that works out for you, then overall you can be positive, over longer periods of time, right? So just make sure that your strategies work for you on a consistent basis. It doesn't have to be 1-to-1. Like you could trade where you're getting half. So let's say you could be reverse. You could not be 2-to-1. You could be literally making half of what you're risking. But if you win 80% of the time, that's still positive, right? Because then it's simple. I said 80% because that's exactly positive, like 1.6 to 1.5.
I think we're probably higher than that, but
right. But it doesn't matter. But the thing is, just make sure that's actually true of you, because what you don't want is to sit there and just have a bunch of wins, and then at the end of the month, like you're not actually green, because it does matter, what your losses are ultimately relative to your wins. Haley in the chat, that's a new symbol for me. So anytime I see someone throw in, I'm curious your analysis on ABTC. I'll always preface this. Have not looked at ABTC. So it's the first time pulling it up, and anytime I pull up a new symbol, the first thing I notice is it is flat out not moving. And when I say not moving, ABTC, like you almost have to see this one. Like this is what I mean by not moving. Like how long do we have to wait for this to actually make a print, right? So still, this is not frozen or anything. This is in real time. This hasn't had a print. All the prints are D-prints. And I'm not going to leave it up forever, but that's 15 seconds without the stock even. I think there you go. It just went 16 seconds, and that's the first print. So ultimately, immediately not a day trade. And then you go number 2. And second point, number 2, is you could look at it doing a number 2 on itself as well. So like this is the exact example. If I know nothing about this, I absolutely dislike it. A, because it doesn't give you enough volume to actually execute. And then B, this is price discovering a bottom and looks absolutely terrible. So yeah, maybe you're getting a bit of a relief rally off the low, but what's your confirmation? The fact that it's not down today after being down 10 days in a row, that's never enough for me. Like anytime something comes to market, loses the bid, I'm usually more interested in when it recovers and breaks back out as opposed to guessing where the low will be. Like that's my I'm always more interested in that because I feel like I'd rather be long off bottoms. Like, look at CRM. It's like that CRM trade. That's why I like CRM. That's why I'm going to buy some because it's already made the bottom and then it gives me a reason to go long as opposed to trying to absolutely predict that bottom. So I wouldn't catch a falling knife there. Just don't like it. Sorry, sports and stonks also agreeing that ABTC is a bad play in the chat. And to each their own.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, we covered a little bit more right here, right now. 85s. Far so good. Our Intel reports later on this week as well. Oh, I know what I wanted to do. Let's have a quick look at what the heck the market is doing. All righty. Like I said, I was watching the show on Friday and thought that more of this for me, looking at different stocks. Like, I mean, obviously we get caught up a lot. We had the stock visualizer, which is great, but just some broader market stuff, like, you know, what sectors are bumping and which aren't. Like today, that's really the retail trade that isn't doing much. And I mean, for sure, Amazon's doing it. I think Amazon's more of a technical bounce that we're seeing right now on Amazon. I mean, it's bouncing off, almost clean off the 200 period. If not, it's still right there. It's only up 1%, but that's a clean bounce. Today, you get seeing pullbacks at Walmart and Home Depot. Obviously, all the natural plays for retail as well. Costco downside as well there today. You know, TJ Maxx, Lowe's, Home Depot is an interesting name. That just keeps on falling, actually. 420, nice high into 380. So giving us some kind of a look right there for Home Depot. But again, a nice move for them. I would buy some. I think for me, my pure play is Costco. And then I don't own Walmart, Neil does, and then I own a lot of Amazon, which is probably why I'm not buying more. I was looking at Oracle today and really feel lucky to be able to sell that on last Thursday near those highs. We got some sort of a story last Thursday about AMD and Oracle and all that, and we were able to sell off of that. I'm wondering about Palantir, if they're maybe the next one to hit the skids a little bit right now as some of these technology services. Again, it's a technology services, right? I mean, I don't know if Oracle's part of this down detector at all with Amazon, but like their downside, so is Apple Oven. So I don't really know what's going on with these two names right here today because they're sticking out like sore thumbs. And obviously, if Adara has something on Oracle, we've already gone to her a couple times, and we thought it was sympathy, right? We saw CoreWeave to the downside as well. We've seen Nvidia recently starting to get a little lower here, so those are some plays to look at. And oh boy, what a day again here today for me on Tesla. So, you know, what goes up must come down. GM down, Tesla up, Ford flat. Ford had that fire in a supplier. That was not a great move for them. I'm going to get another piece out here on another 10% out at 108 there on the TQs. Energy today is real nice. I mean, prices around here, around the pump, have actually been pretty good around the GTA to Greater Toronto area. But you could see here XOM and CVX as rates start to come in a little bit. Right now, we do have that October 29th Fed meeting, which will cut rates. And you can see right now with oil, CLX is the November contract. Once X is up, I'm going to forget the next ones. You guys got to try to remind me of that as well. But see, relatively flat there, but you can see what oil's been doing. This is what we mean about it getting possibly a little cheap here in the energy space right now, down to $57. And then XOM, while I was looking it up, this is one of the, I mean, XOM and energy stocks are always PE, low PEs, of course, just because of the way that works in their distribution there. But this is something to talk about. I don't really like energy names. I can't wrap my head around it right now, so I'm not going to do anything. We did hear there's still, you know, Trump, Putin's going to be hopefully talking at some point, and that should settle some of the oil names out just a little bit. Occidental had that deal with Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway there where they bought OxyClean or something like that. I think
part of the thing for, we were talking about this at lunchtime.
Yeah.
OxyClean.
OxyClean is, that ShamWow?
ShamWow guy.
Was he also OxyClean?
Wasn't he?
What's the the Occidental was Ox something.
I thought it was the ShamWow guy.
Oh, maybe.
Anyways, I think that guy went to jail.
Anyways, one division they bought for $9.7 billion. But look at Occidental. Like, this is, you know, to think about getting, come over to the chart here.
Bobby Mays, maybe the other guy. Someone just said in the chat.
I don't know their names.
Bobby Mays was the famous one.
Okay. Andre, just show this chart just for 1 second here. I was just going to say, like, all of this garbage down here on Occidental. So this stock, I think if you're going in the energy space, I think there needs to be a little bit of work done over here because I think there's going to be a lot of get up off of this level if it does hold. So the last time we broke through here, $40, we got up to 48. That's 20%, right? Then pulled back, got back up there. Now big pullback down here for Occidental. So a little bit more work to be done there, but I do like Occidental down here at 4.0. So we'll see if there's a bump up there. I'm not willing to pull the trigger on anything. I probably own some XOM. Like I said, it's irresponsible of me not to even know my positions, but XLE is the only ETF that I own in this space, and that's kind of just hovering and doing nothing, again, collecting a dividend. And then in gas pipeline distribution, I own Enbridge. You could also own Enbridge in the United States, and that's been a good one. But
Enbridge is great.
Again, the pullback's still...
The only, out of dividend plays, the only thing I've owned longer than Enbridge is Canadian banks. But the one thing about the energy names is it's twofold. Like, A, oil's not doing anything, but the second side of it is when you're getting a good rate in the money markets, the dividend stocks have less of an appeal.
Yeah.
In a rate, sort of reducing cycle, which rates are coming down, these are going to start to look a little bit better. But we're not exactly, rates aren't coming down as fast as people are expecting, so dividend stocks are not going to do as well as you would expect. Like, that's just normal par for the course. But it's starting to get to the time that I think you can start nibbling back into them, and it'll get a little bit more appealing. Especially, well, I don't want to say it's a foregone conclusion, but it does seem like we're going to get. We should get at least one more cut, and then next year get a couple more.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably.
Yeah, like at that point, I don't think we're being controversial with that. I haven't looked at the Fed tool in a hot minute, but overall, we're still waiting on some data. I think part of the problem, like right now, is the Fed's like, oh, we need more data, so no one's talking about it because we're not actually getting inflation data right now, jobs data, which is more important. And if they're worried about the job market, then they got to cut. And that's the last thing that Powell has been mentioning, has been the concern now more lies with the labor market. And when that is true, you usually need to get out in front of it with some cuts. We'll see if that actually happens. It just hit 330. We're going to quickly look at the imbalances before jumping back over to the trades. HPE, I feel like that's been there a couple of times and done nothing. So 2.2 million to sell on Hewlett. Not much. Beyond Meat, and that's comically small, but from this morning. Like that stock, let's put it this way, Beyond Meat.
Yeah, that's left over.
This morning, that's what I'm saying. Like but even still, like a stock, you wanted to do a large percentage, or not a large notional value in dollars, but you also wanted to do it a decent percentage, the imbalance of what the stock has done in volume on the day. So like an example would be like Nvidia's done 100 million shares. I'd want to see an imbalance 5 million or more. Like if it is 5% the imbalance, that'd be huge on Nvidia. I haven't even looked at Nvidia today, outside of the first few minutes. So ETH, we just got back in up the top. My stop's at 311, just above the 310. I got 4 short, and we'll play the range here. Bitcoin is, here, I'll show you IBIT, because this is the other thing. We're playing it off VWAP. Like Bitcoin is holding the volume weighted average price as well. If I saw this breaking out, I'd probably just punch out and not reload, because that was part of the thesis as well. So yeah, just checking out ETH right now and still looking at Beyond Meat for a potential reversion off the high. The only issue is it doesn't look like it's going to get to that $1.50 level. It tried, but sort of failing here on Beyond Meat. Pretty sure I did pay for locates this morning. I did.
Yeah, I saw you did.
Yeah, they weren't free this morning. You paid a small amount to go short this. And I'll probably pay them tomorrow morning as well. Just looking for the setup. It's not that I automatically think it'll go down. I just feel like eventually there's going to be a, not a reckoning, but like a heavy candle.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. We can.
Because the reckoning already happened. Yeah,
for sure. Big time movement down for Beyond Meat. High of like 250 down to $1. Yeah, 250, of course. You can pay for shorts from here till eternity with this trade right here. This is now $6.
Money.
So it looks like getting out at the 50 period. I like that. I like that a lot. Wilson and Katina Capital might be merging very, very soon. You get these two mines together. Might be a problem. Okay, there goes Tesla right now $6. We combine stock picking plus options over there. Oh, again, the chills over here, Joey Options. But there it is, man, 447 right there for Tesla. It is another one, and we've got one on right there for TSLA. We'll wait. We now do have on board 40% left of this TQ trade. We'll see where it wants to go. We do have a super chat as well, so shout out to, he was all over the chat. What's up, William Larson? How you doing over there? What's up, William? Oh, he's got it on the screen, so thank you so much for that one. Mr. Andre over there. I'll go back to the live chat. So here we go. He wants to know about Nebius, right? Speculation dropping to fill the gap. Yes, dropping, yes, for sure. Fill the gap from September the 9th. So let's go have a quick little look there. I mean, Nebius, the same kind of system as CoreWeave. I mean, if you're going to think about some of these AI names getting a little weaker, then yeah, Nebius will be falling down with these names. We do wait for CapEx talk. I don't know when they report, but if you're obviously talking about this gap right here. I would say it's not impossible to fill that. I mean, that would be back about, if the high is 140, you fill it back to $60 right there. That's like a 70% drop or so on the stock, or 60+% drop. That's a huge one. I don't know if we fill it all the way back to there. I'm always looking at 50-period moving averages, which means that we do need to hold this 85, 86 area. I would just say we're going to watch out for CapEx, right? I mean, coming out right now, if you are a Nebius shareholder or CoreWeave or anything like that, you just want to make sure that the hyperscalers are still continuously dumping in money into the idea, and if they are, then I think Nebius could still work out. I mean, we saw a big move downside in CoreWeave today as well, so could be some more action downside for NBIS. We could just wait to see how long it's going to take for them to fill that. NBIS, let me just see the earnings date for them, and again, you see where it says PE here and it shows nothing? I don't know if that's true for Nebius because nothing's loading up right now. So this might be down the website right here.
No,
but it doesn't have anything in here, industry average.
FinViz has them at nothing.
Yeah, okay.
These guys are like 240 in sales, million.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, 11% short float. They kind of fit the bill right here of, downside. So I would just say, be careful with it. I know they got to deal with Microsoft. 14 days. Sorry, that's what I was looking for. So 14 days. So I think you got it. It should be enough there to give us 14 days now worth of information. I think you'll have a good idea for Nebius. But again, thanks for the super chat. Just another name that I'm nervous. I would not catch said knife of falling down, because I think it is a falling knife with some of these names, and I just wait for everything to settle. Might you miss the absolute bottom? Yes, but like Kramer was pounding the table of CoreWeave at $40. That went to like 180. I think there's going to be a lot of options and a lot of opportunities, to get these things going through. So by the way, right now, $6 and change ringing out now on Tesla. What's up, Adara?
I just want to let you guys know here, AppLovin has been kind of weak all day, tried to recover, but not very successfully. Just bringing this up here because I'm seeing it mentioned on social media again here. Again, this is from earlier today, but just seeing some reminders here on X, people posting that AppLovin is apparently under federal and state data privacy probes after some allegations from short sellers saying that the company tracked users with digital fingerprints. Again, these are not new claims, but they were recirculated this morning by Muddy Waters, which is one of the reporters that actually issued a report against AppLovin, but also, again, seeing this on social media too one more time. So AppLovin's still on watch here, guys. Some investigations reportedly occurring. Back to you.
All right, before we get on, we got to handle this e-signal, then we'll go over. Neil's going to talk about earnings. Join Neil and Adara tonight for earnings, of course, and our market recap show brought to you by Global X. But right now, if you do scan that QR code right now on your screen, you will get your first month free. That's right, we are waiving the fees. I believe the gentlemen from ICE are coming tomorrow. Going out after, hopefully, for that one, celebrate the Blue Jays winning. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to Elite. Analyze, strategize, and capitalize with their platform. It is e-signal. It has infinite data and instant trading, lightning fast market insights, game-changing charts. You can predict everything with backtesting. We saw Joey talk about some of his backtesting ventures here this weekend, and that was pretty awesome. You could build algos on this as well, or just little ideas, scanners, and whatnot. This is the all-in-one platform. Do not miss out for your opportunity right now to become a e-signal subscriber. Get it for free, and then entitle all over the world with your markets, right? Like if you're looking to trade something more exotic, Japan, we talked about Blue Ocean overnight and things like that. E-signal is going to be your place to go for that. So just be careful and make sure that you do trade E-signal with E-signal and nobody else if you're looking for the best data. I'm bidding 15s.
I don't think they went down. Like,
no, I didn't get any problems with E-signal today. But there it is. We take another fill for only 10 cents here at the 50-period moving average. I'm getting lighter and lighter. We only have 30% left of this. Heading into 338 now. We actually did really well. It was a kind of a trade right there as the market went a little red for us there. So we take advantage of that push down right there. I don't know what happened to your Ethereum. I assume you're going to talk about it. Not much going on right now as we get ready into the close.
Yeah, the first one was good. The second one, you can see us getting back in here, and then it just broke that prior bar high. So I'm out of ETH. We're 1 for 2 on it. Maybe not as good as IBIT today, which is weird because it trends down. Like IBIT actually looking, I know the percentages are not always going to be the same, but IBIT is looking really, really strong, at least for now. So look, I was long it even though it was downtrend today. But if we're talking about what tomorrow, there's anything can happen overnight. So I'll just preface this because the wrong headline comes and we're gap down, and then everything I'm about to say is going to be nonsensical because it doesn't matter because we gap down. But it feels to me, there's your rounded bottom. We didn't break out today. I bought every available dip where there was support today on IBIT. All morning long, I bought support, and then in the afternoon, I bought support. But it's this breakout at 63.5. Like that's to me where the real juice is going to come. ETH could break 4,000. This will be if we take like 112. That 112 level needs to happen. Like when you have these panic style events. Whoops, this is meant to be on Bitcoin. When you have these panic style events where we make like this panic move, I think those are chances for the relief rally. 112 and then 116 on IBIT. So yeah, I liked it to the long side today. I'm going to default to preferring longs tomorrow. It doesn't mean like longs will set up, but like again, like I said, like I think getting away with one today because it didn't follow through, but that's a consolidative day. And if you consolidate an up move, then I'm usually thinking breakout the next day on IBIT if we can get it. Still not much with the imbalances, but anything that was there is now smaller and distinctly smaller. Oh, there's another thing about at some point this quarter, because we were talking about CoreWeave earlier, and I forgot to mention this because I noticed this just today when I was looking at what might happen for imbalances. There's no big imbalances expected today, but at some point this quarter, CoreWeave is supposed to be an addition to the MSCI.
CoreWeave.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is, and that's one of those names. Now, CoreWeave's having a terrible day today.
To which MSCI?
MSCI.
Oh, okay.
But there's no date for it yet. But that's exactly the kind of stock. Like it's just thinly enough traded liquidity-wise that if it has a big imbalance, and whenever it happens, it's supposed to be like 9 million shares to trade. Like it's done 22 million shares today. Whenever that happens on CoreWeave, that's going to be an event. So it doesn't give you a reason to buy it today because I don't know what date it'll happen. It could happen in December. It could happen more likely in November. But this is, the second I get a date announced, I'm going to start looking for long setups on CoreWeave. So just something to keep an eye on because it will happen eventually. And 9 million shares is not chump change. If they were smart, they'd lead into that and they could be buying it now when it's down 7%. That would be pretty smart. But they don't always do that kind of thing. They wait till the actual date is announced, and then it can go ramping from there. So just keep an eye on that. 20 minutes until, oops, check that. 18 minutes till the close, only 9 minutes till the imbalances. I don't know if I see anything else. Beyond Meat, it's not really, doesn't really run into those highs for the double top on Beyond Meat. And I don't think it has enough time to get into VWAP for a dip. So I think that one's a bit of a disappointment. All kinds of movement early, especially off that dollar level. Sometimes it's that simple. Like the stock was a short this morning off $1, and then it was a long off $1. And at some point, it's probably going to be a short off $1 again. Just not yet. Not yet.
We only have 10% left of Tesla, 30% left of the TQs, and I am bidding. Oh, did I just get those? No, not yet. I'm bidding right here. I'm bidding 05s, I thought. QQQ. Oh, 01s. Okay, we're getting greedy here. Yeah, so we're bidding O's basically down here into 108. So let's see if we can get that. We're bidding 01s. I think we should. You know what? I was going to say it's not like we're only trying to get out of 10% each time, so it's not like this is our big thing here. We've basically got 8 outs right now. We have 30% on 7 outs, so we'll get one more here at 05 as it's bouncing around. There it is. Okay, so we just get an 05 there on that kind of a flush. So far so good there, and we'll just wait now to see, you know, how much lower this wants to go. I do have a bid at 91, which would basically be the lowest that we got. We were lucky enough at one point to get 85s there on that trade, and then I do have an offer upside for Tesla. I don't know. My stop initially on this trade was $1. Oh, sorry, that's not Tesla. This is Tesla. Was down here, a break of 440. So the fact that we had to stop for $1, it went up in the money 6. We'll wait. Like these imbalances, we only have 10% left, so not a big, huge trade. But again, if we break below this 445, we could stop out there. What about just where are we now? 446. Thing is, we could take 446 before we even get going here, again, into the close. So we have to watch out to see if that's a possibility or not. Like even before those imbalances is what I'm saying. I think Tesla could come out with a buy imbalance. Nasdaq's starting to hit downside now, so that's really good for this trade as the futures continue to go lower. The only other trade, I guess, Oracle's been real weak all day. We could have a look here to see if there's any sort of an opportunity to maybe dip buy something here in Oracle again. I'm choosing not to buy anything here. We sold out at 319. It's back down to 276. So that could be something there that we think about reloading, but again, not in love with it. And then CoreWeave, another name that, you know, we had sort of indicated a couple times here today as well, looking to see where this one wants to get into 127. A break of this shelf is a problem for CoreWeave as well into tomorrow. So we'll see if it breaks below the 50 period. We're always looking now, we get excited into earnings season, so that's obviously going to be a big talk for us. Moving forward is what these stocks do heading into that season. So we're basically right here, right now. We got big banks last week, which were not that successful. I mean, if you look over at some of the banks and you start with an XLF, just to get them all, you're going to see that it's down, you know, pretty good. If we said we reported last week 54s down into 52s, we got into 51s right there. So it hasn't been a great earnings season thus far for the banks, and you know the regionals also got smoked. You have Zion tonight.
We just got a question about like what we think about Zion.
Okay.
How much of the earnings going to matter? You think you care? Like right now, for regional bank, do you care about top and bottom, or do you want to hear from the CEOs about about their risk with their loans?
Right.
That's what you want to hear about right now. So like you could have a situation. These guys could miss top and bottom, and then say, hey, look, our exposure is not as bad as you think, and we weren't affected by the recent dumps, and there's no contagion, and then that kind of stuff could shoot the stock to the upside. But all of the regionals recovered today. Like if you look at like KRE has just been straight up. It didn't do anything on Friday, unfortunately. Okay, fine. Like it was a short at the open. You could have done something with the short, and then like maybe you caught the bottom. But effectively, carry didn't move on Friday, which was a humongous disappointment because I think we came in thinking that there'd be a big move on carry one way or the other, and unless you went long at 7 a.m., it was pretty useless. But today, it is a straight shot to the upside. So this recovery seemingly happening. It's back to the 200. Again, you're just looking for not bad news, I think, with Zion. For sure. Swamp Rat is that. You know, PayPal, we get a lot of questions about PayPal. And I think the reason why is everyone likes to pick a bottom. Sometimes it's fine. I like CRM's bottom right now. So you count me as somebody who likes it. But PayPal has a very strange thing happening at 65 and 70, where outside of like 2 or 3 days, it just bounces off of 65, and then it seems to reject 70. It's got this long accumulation going. The longer that happens, these moving averages are going to start to condense, and then it just makes a breakout more likely. But the last breakout gave you your $10 and then just immediately failed. Because there's something still not right about PayPal. But I like this move much better off 65 than the previous ones. Because look at how clean that V is in the last couple of days. You have a couple of days of down, and then right back 2 days to the upside for potential breakout. Everything about PayPal says recovery, bounce, fill to 77. I don't really use PayPal anymore, so you're not going to count me as someone who invests in them. I never did. I mean, I think between the two. Like, I actually had shares of Square back in the day and never had shares of PayPal. But something is really cool happening at that 65. And it does feel like maybe this time is different. But then the last time this tried to break away from 70, it gave you your 10% and then it was dead 2 days later. So you're probably worthwhile, if this does set up a good swing trade, to make sure you bank some of that profit. But I am looking at this one for potential long. That's 4 times off 65 now. Like, at some point, this is going to get with it and start going.
Yeah, PayPal, I mean, we talked about the PE is really exciting down there. So
it's a great value.
Yeah, I think it's a good one there. I still hold some PayPal. So we're going to wait and see if we can get going on that one. You know, minutes left now until those imbalances. And honestly, man, I mean, Tesla's the one that's kind of holding bid right now. The TQs, I'm actually going to stop out if it breaks above like 30. So I'm just going to put it in right now. The trade is just too slow right now for me. It's not... we only have a minute left, so if these imbalances come out hot, this thing's going to rip. I'm not going to average into it there. I was only trading this thing for the move that we got. So we got that move, and now we're into 20% left. So we'll wait to see if there is a pushback on that one, and then we're waiting for 450 to come on Tesla. BYND, 450, yeah. BYND here at the end of the day. I mean, it was only a matter of time before it actually did a move off of that 150. I'm surprised it's not a little bit more than this. There, I know Neil was talking about tomorrow. I think it could be a good trade tomorrow as well. So I actually think it extends tomorrow, and you know, we don't come in tomorrow and it's at 140. I don't think so. We'll, if you're going to make a call, this could be one that's a little exciting for traders come tomorrow. So that's going to be PayPal. We'll see if it does kick out. Or sorry, that's Beyond Meat. PayPal always going to be exciting. Wait for those.
Well, I hope that breaks out too. Like, PayPal's setup is really good.
Yeah, I really like PayPal. And here we go, 3, 2, and 1, and we'll see right now what these imbalances have in store. Looks like it might be a bid. Forget about that. Looks like it might be a bid for Tesla as that starts to go to the upside. Ethereum's a buy. We're probably a buy side overall. A lot of bids coming through there. Nvidia's a bid as well. There goes. So again, we'll just wait for this to get stopped out in a couple pennies. No worries on this one. We'll make money on the TQs. I only traded 2 names.
Is a buy as well.
Yeah, I only traded 2 names today, the TQQ and Tesla. So we'll go 2 for 2 there on 2 good ideas. And it doesn't look like Tesla wants to go too far. I'm going to put the stop right now at 446.50. So if we break 446.50 on Tesla, then we'll get out. So I'll cancel all my stops now and get this out there for Tesla.
So actually, overall, I would have thought the market would be a bigger buy than this. 141 million to buy total. The Nasdaq 573 million to buy. Mag 7 164. So it's because it's really just Nvidia at 900 million. There must be a few sells in there somewhere. Beyond Meat. Remember we said how big the Beyond Meat imbalance would have to be to matter. 1.1 million into a billion shares is not going to cut it. So that's obviously a nothing burger. ETH with a decent imbalance there. Intel, that'll pair off. Apple, that wasn't there a second ago. Apple 1.3 million sell. I'll chalk that up to people taking profits and just saying, let's just take the closing print with an all-time high day for Apple. Really good sales out of China, which we didn't really say enough. iPhone 17 selling well. I mean, this all-time high, AMD all-time high. The cool thing about Apple is, at least with Apple, if you're afraid about the whole AI bubble, then this one is probably the safest out of the Mag 7. Right, like the whole thing is the criticism of Apple not spending on AI. Well, good, because if that falls apart, then this is something in your portfolio that probably doesn't get hit as much if you're looking at the big cap tech. So I'm like continuation plays on Apple. Like the long today, we're going to like it long tomorrow by absolute and utter default. But yeah, I just said that Beyond Meat 1 million imbalance shouldn't do much of anything, and then of course it actually starts going to the upside. But as I said, it's done 1 billion shares in volume. So the imbalance is not going to have anything to do with it. Taz just asked in the chat, Webull imbalance check. I mean, I don't see it up here, so I'd have to literally sort it alphabetically. Not every stock is going to have a sizable imbalance. In fact, the overwhelming majority don't. That's just how it is. Webull might be somewhat in play today. XRP is going?
Like that.
Ooh, we do like that. Yeah, Webull, nothing burger. Imbalance is like 80,000 shares. Do we don't have that on P4A, do we?
It's XXXRRP, or there's a couple.
We do.
There's a couple.
No, we have it here in P4A.
Okay. Oh, we had.
Oh, I didn't. You know what?
Ripple itself. Yeah,
To be honest, I'm going to stop and fail myself. I forget that we can just. We always show you what we trade. We trade the ETS. No, we can here at P per 8. We're able to pull up XRP and show you that move to the upside. Hopefully, my excuse me, daily chart works as well. Is choking a little bit there. Oh, that's a good reversal. It's a good looking reversal on XRP. 15. Oh, the 15-minute chart doesn't seem to like me. All right, well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. My daily chart worked, my 3-minute chart worked, my 15-minute chart saying absolutely not. But yeah, good move up there in XRP for sure. Let's see if this can hold on to that 250 level. If it's above the 200 period, breaking back out, that's a spicy meatball. I like it.
All right, well, we got a spicy meatball right here. This is almost $7 right now, and I'm offering $4.48. Like we talked about, I know Neil had a banger on Friday, talked about $6 winner there on Friday. We got one right here too, $4.41 up to $4.50 right there, almost $8 or $9. But add that back, plus all this and all this and all of that right there. We just, oh my God, I'm at $4.48 flat. Like honestly, let's just see if we can get a rip through there right now. 448 flat now for Tesla. So let's go, man. Here we go. Nice move into the highs of the day on the close for obviously Tesla. So we are now 15 cents away from getting that top. Should I just offer it right here and then I won't feel so bad? If this doesn't get me it right now, then we'll feel some kind of ways. But right now, there goes Tesla. I might just offer it right here. Yeah, let's just take this out right now at 71. Okay, there it is. We get 71s. Good trade there. We'll pat ourselves on the back for that one, and we'll just go diamond hands, man. A nice little $6 plus winner there on Tesla, but now we got to go over to Neil.
Great job on Tesla, but I have a question for you about that trade.
Yeah.
Did you have to trade your own money on that trade?
Yes.
No, well, what, the capital for
I
it?
know, I'm just joking. I knew what you were getting to.
Oh, no, you didn't have to risk.
No.
Because when you're trading for a pot floor, you aren't risking your own money. And for some, if you're looking at trade the pool, that means you can have less fear of losing. And that's kept a lot of traders on the sideline when they're risking their own money. That's changing. Trade the Pool wants to transform how traders access the markets. With its limited risk trading model, traders use funded capital while Trade the Pool absorbs the downside. This allows traders to focus on what truly matters: discipline, consistency, and growth. Trading good setups, focusing on your system. When you hit the profit target, you then get to keep 70% of the profits. No fear, no barriers, just a real opportunity. This revolution is called limited risk trading, and it's powered by Trade the Pool. You can visit tradethepool.com, or you can just scan the QR code you see right in front of you and get 10% off your first evaluation account. So shout out to Trade the Pool. They were here last week.
Yeah.
Mitch. I'm pretty sure we'll have Mitch on tomorrow morning because it's Tuesday. We usually do. We usually do around here. So we'll say what's up to Mitch in the morning. We got about 3 or 4 minutes to go. That's really. I have to make a mental note that we should be showing you the actual crypto charts a lot of times when we're talking about it in real time. And it's not to toot the horn of real trading or anything like that. What I would say is this.
It's an opportunity to look at the actual prices.
The reason like I can pull up, like I can literally pull up Bitcoin in real time and show it to you, but I'll never trade it regardless. It's the same thing. We'll just always trade IBIT. If you're at Real Trading, the thing is you already have an account with a bunch of buying power in like North American equities, so why would you not trade just that? Like there's no reason if you're at Real Trading to not just trade the ETF. So we'll always trade that, but it's the same chart.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I'm like, I don't know what price that coincides with, and I forget that I can just pull up the chart and tell you guys, and that's on me. I see a few people in the chat mentioning UiPath and HIMS. We only have about 3 minutes to go. HIMS is a disappointing name. I'll leave it at that, except for the fact that it really respects the 200 period. So the last time we were asked about this, I said wait for it to get to the 200 period moving average, because one thing I care about is I might like an indicator, but does the stock like the indicator that I like? And if the answer is yes, then you wait for that patiently. And I think HIMS is on a downswing. Let it get into 45, 46. It's really been respecting that the last couple times it was there. I'd look for a bounce a third time. I'm going to mosey on up to the
get
desk.
over there.
Don't forget now, you can just look at the side of that screen and see how the markets are doing. You got the We don't really talk about the U.S. dollar that much.
Yeah, but it's on there now, the dollar.
But it's up there.
1.7.
The Q's with a great day.
I mean, look at that, man. A very, very green day overall there. Q SPY, led by the Qs, of course, today, as we have some big Nasdaq names.
The SPY doing worse than the Dow. I don't know about that.
All right, get over
Usually requires an explanation why the Dow is doing better than the SPY.
Yeah, Nvidia's down. That could be something there today. I mean, look what's happening with Apple right now. So some of these bigger components that are in the Dow, but Apple's up 4%, so that wouldn't be the reason why anything right now. But Apple is getting a little bit of a sell-off. We do have some questions in the chat about why potentially Apple is doing this. And again, it just could be a sell-off related. There it is. Yeah, Apple's right here. It was a 7 million sell. So there was a big sell here for Apple. You can probably, if I zoom this out, you'll see some decent sized going through there on Apple at the close. So definitely creating some downside pressure. Just like this Ethereum is adding, I mean, this is a good pressure if you're long. Bid on the name there. Coke coming out with earnings later on this week as well. So it was another great day to trade. We want to thank everybody for joining us one more time, as we only have 1 minute left now until market close. How are those banks finishing up the day there? 302. So again, good movement upside right here for some banking stocks. I'm still not into Alibaba, but I really like these Chinese names. And as TCEHY, shout out to our good friend Jeff Mendel from TCEHY it is. I really like Tencent. And I think this is TCEHY. Is that what I said? Is that not right? Yeah, that's right. Okay, so I really like Tencent as well. I think this is going to be a good one. I would have loved to get that earlier today, but nice move higher there as we bounce again off the 50-period moving average. You know, XAI and Elon, he was the one using Tencent as like some examples of what he was trying to turn XAI into. So we'll see if that can get going right there. But we do now only have 20 seconds left, and we want to thank everybody. Make sure you do watch our recap show with Neil and Adara, brought to you by Global X and Beta Pro. So check out there 3 times. Tencent holds 40% stake in Epic Games. Is that true? If so, my kid would really appreciate me owning some Tencent. 3, 2, 1. There we go. We do get a nice move downside there as we were short on the TQQs right here to end. We did get stopped out at VWAP. We didn't get stopped out, but we do get out as it's now. Wow. There's the fall for the market, man. We were short. Only 2 trades for me today, Qs and Tesla, but good day, needless to say. Trophy day, so we'll hold that up. We're really happy with the performance there. And as I said, we were at a charitable event last week, and I took these Trader TV Live cocktail napkins. I thought they were pretty cool. So right there, yeah, we'll put these over on here and watch them for a little while again. And always giving back, right? We sponsored the bar there. It was for cancer research. So that was a really fun event, and we want to thank everybody for that one as well. All right, over there now to the desk. Thank you so much for joining us. They've got earnings. They're popping in already, so let's go over. I'll see you guys tomorrow. So for everybody here at Trader TV Live, this is this show. We're now done, but we're going over to the recap show right now. Ciao.
Welcome everybody to the market recap, brought to you by Beta Pro by GlobeX. In the market with a huge recovery. I'm hoping the Jays bats are as strong as the bounce in the market today. You saw across the board strength led by the Nasdaq and by you-know-who, Apple. At all-time highs for Apple. We're right back up top. This is the Nasdaq. What regional bank crisis, what China trade issues, we're right back up to the highs because Apple had some good sales. You saw Tesla was absolutely banging there at the end of the day. So it seems like all systems go. However, Adara.
Yes.
I just alluded to maybe it not being so bad with the regional banks, but we get one reporting in about 8 minutes, 8 or 9 minutes. Zions is going to be reporting at about 4:10. We get a bunch more earnings in the morning tomorrow. We also have after the bell tomorrow is going to be Netflix. So there was a lot to look at, a lot to cover. It wasn't just about Beyond Meat. However, Beyond Meat did lead the entire market in, I mean, its notional volume is pretty insignificant because it's only like a $1.50 stock. But doing over 1 billion shares in volume today was Beyond Meat. The squeeze is real. They restructured, they diluted a little bit. and it was able to gain right now 137%. So a lot going on, a lot to recap and talk about. We'll also have Michael Noss coming on through as well. But
always, yeah.
What a great start to the week. You always like it when the market's up.
Right, always a fun time when the market is to the upside, that is for sure. And I think, too, this is an interesting way to kind of head into earnings. Right, we have earnings season. Tomorrow morning, there are a bunch of names that are probably only fun to day trade if you are me. But like we've got Lockheed Martin, we have RTX, we have GM, we have Philip Morris. Let's see if they can bring the smoke with their report tomorrow morning. And we will also have GE, Coca-Cola. There's a whole bunch. You can check them out on X at TTV Research. But the point is, I would say earnings kind of start tomorrow, and they're really going to heat up on Tuesday after the bell with Netflix. Then they're going to heat up further, turn up the grill a notch with Tesla after the bell on Wednesday, IBM as a chaser there on Wednesday night, then Intel we get on Thursday evening, and really nothing else of interest. Deckers, let's hope they don't die on Thursday evening, and I only say that because Deckers unfortunately does tend to get kicked a little bit when they do their earnings reports, and I mean no offense to anybody who is long that name. But yeah, we'll see here at Zion's certainly not going to be like, the showstopper that all the other names I mentioned necessarily are. I think it's going to be of interest either way. Here's the Nasdaq and Neil. I think in a way, it's kind of nice that we closed where we did, because if not, I feel like we would have maybe tested that 611.50, and I don't know how that would have gone over. Because we tested it 4 times, and we survived, but had we not closed, would we have survived? I'm really not sure. Anyways, my slightly coherent rant is over now. We're going to have to wait and see what happens here with ZION. But I mean, certainly, I think with Apple, too, Neil, I did not expect that to move to the extent that it did. But great look at new all-time high.
Oh, I 100% didn't expect it was going to go this far. I think, in my note, I was basically like, I like the long today in Apple as long as it holds on to 255. And I even said room to 259, 260. So, the early move bounced off 55. And it went to 259, and then it went to 260. What happened after that was continuation, another 1.5% for Apple, with strong early sales for the iPhone 17 in China. So the thing about it is people are still buying Apple. Yes, you've still got China concerns. Yeah, you're going to have people say that they haven't refreshed enough. There's not enough new and cool with it. But they're still making half their revenue from it, and certainly it's still a win for Apple. They make fantastic devices that people like, whether you use them or not. I don't use them, and I own the stock, and it just continues to be a winner. It wasn't the only thing that made an all-time high today. That being said, it really held the strength of that high break. It's not just that it made the all-time high. Outside of literally the last candle, when you get those reversals, and I'll add one point to this about the end of the day in a quick little second. But outside of that last little candle that you had right at the close where this sold off, you consolidated after an early morning move pretty much all day long on what wasn't even big news. It's just small gains in China. But keep in mind, a lot of times these pullbacks on Mag 7 names, when they're strong at the end of the day, any stock or any company that does regular buybacks, you have to remember that in the final 10 minutes of the session, companies aren't allowed to do buybacks. So if there's an implicit buyback bid on stock, I'm not saying that was the case here, but a lot of times when these Mag 7 names sometimes can sell off a little bit at the end, it's because there could have been buy pressure from programs or algos that have been part of buybacks, and then it's just not happening at the end of the day. The switch gets turned off, and then you have some profit taking, and sometimes you get these harsh candles, which don't in and of themselves always mean something. So that could be what happened here, but doesn't really matter. Very, very strong day here for Apple, but it wasn't all strength everywhere. As good as it was for the Qs, a couple of notable names that are very similar took it on the chin today, and that was CoreWeave and Oracle.
Yep.
Yeah, neither one of those two had a very good time. A rising tide doesn't lift all ships here. Almost 7% down specifically for CoreWeave, down $9 from the highs. And it just trended down all day. Oracle didn't look much better.
Off the open, yeah. So I kind of had Oracle. It wasn't even something I was really planning on trading, but I had it on my side chart. I was like, I did like the idea of a 290 break. We broke 290 off the open. I'm like, maybe try this. Yeah. So, I mean, I was very lucky to kind of get that move, but I'm saying, no one, just as we didn't expect Apple to pop, I don't think anybody expect Oracle to drop to that extent. I had no clue, and it dropped hard, and it basically maintained that weakness. It was kind of choppier near the end of the day. It made a bit of a base around 275.50s, but I mean, compared to the high of day around like 291, that is really not saying much. So bit of a rough look. And I have said, I do think that Oracle's at the point now, and like lately, if you look on Benzinga or whatever your news source is, look at Oracle around 8 a.m. almost every day. And today was no exception. They will have some kind of news blast. Oracle is acting like a small cap with the crazy guidance and the daily news blast. And I'm not trying to say I'm anti-Oracle. I know I have made a lot of not necessarily pro-Oracle comments, but I have a big issue because I've went and I've gone through the earnings reports in the past. I have a huge issue with their cloud infrastructure guidance, and I think, and I know Zero Hedge has been saying this for a while as well, Oracle's propensity to guide years in advance is kind of becoming, I think, a little bit tiresome, especially when they upped their cloud infrastructure guidance for fiscal 2030 by $22 billion over the course of 40 days.
But isn't the bigger concern that it's like all that entire strength of guide comes from OpenAI?
Yeah.
Like it's 100%.
No diversity.
There's zero diversity with that from Oracle. And it's almost like once the market decided to digest that, they're like, oh, maybe we don't like that as much. And so Oracle has just been, for lack of a better term, it's been taking it on the chin a little bit here, unfortunately. The other story for today was, and it's going to be weird, the price action that happened was this Amazon outage, because AWS with an outage that affected, look, many things were affected, but if you're watching this show, you know that issues at Robinhood, issues at Webull, and issues at many brokers, so a lot of traders, we had no problems trading today, shout out to Real Trading, but we had no problems trading. A lot of traders either had incorrect account balances, maybe they couldn't trade, maybe certain features weren't working, but all kinds of issues all related to the Amazon outage, which is mostly corrected now. But ultimately, we've been talking about almost all day long. It's as if it was a reminder of how powerful Amazon is, because all it did with this issue was go to the upside. It was a string of buyers and a stream of buyers all day long. And I'll even go over to, like, everyone was complaining about not being able to trade in Robinhood. And I get it, the frustration level, and I feel your pain. Because on a day where the market trended up and there were a lot of opportunities out there, you had things like Beyond Meat squeezing and Robinhood trading. Like, come on, like that's just, I understand when people get the tinfoil hat thing. I don't think it was any kind of conspiracy. It's just unfortunate that I know a lot of active traders would have been all over something like a Beyond Meat. And of course, if you're having issues with your Robinhood account, you're just not going to be able to do it. It's just entirely too difficult. If it's not reliable, you can't trade something which has halt possibilities and which is going parabolically. But overall, when I consider how strong Hood still was, despite all of that, it just goes to show you sometimes we overreact to short-term bad news. When I think now the market's a little bit smarter in that we realize, hey, like if Amazon has this outage, what difference are any of those clients leaving them? Probably not. So at the end of the day, it just becomes like a buying opportunity if it does in fact dip. It is now 410. So Zion is out. And they are to the upside, so that's good because you didn't want them falling down the way that the regional banks is going. Let's get the earnings here from Zion before we get to Michael.
Yeah, so apparently $1.48 per shareholder here, or per diluted common share for Q3. Now let me see if I have their revenue because I just have their quarterly earnings. Apparently their core earnings, 14% growth in pre-provision net revenue, 18% in an adjusted basis, net interest margin up 25 basis points on a year-over-year basis. Customer-related non-interest income adjusted there grew by 8%. Loans contracted to the 3% annual linked quarter rate. So the loan issue does show up on the earnings.
Okay.
But the rest of the report seems pretty solid. I don't have the EPS and revenue like headline numbers versus estimates yet, but I'll keep you guys posted. I really do quickly want to mention as well here, Neil, I just want to compare what CrowdStrike did when they had their fun little outage moment to what Amazon did when they had their fun little outage moment. And this stock, or this chart is yucky. Like, CrowdStrike had a big old gap down, and then it sold off, and then we continued to sell off for quite some time. And I do have to say, I said this in the midday too, as long as Amazon does not pull a CrowdStrike and offer people $10 Uber Eats vouchers that are flagged for suspicious activity by Uber, then I hope they're okay. I think they'll probably fine. But yeah, CrowdStrike literally received the most epic fail award at this Pony Awards, which I guess is like PWN, i.e. not Pony, which is, I guess, an information security themed awards show. So I think CrowdStrike really shows you how not to handle situations. Hopefully Amazon can handle it a bit better. I think the response was kind of late, and I think it was flagged as late by a lot of people that I'm seeing online. It was certainly better than the $10 Uber Eats vouchers of fame there for CrowdStrike. So I just wanted to address that. Interesting look there. Apparently, Xion's Q3 net charge-offs are $56 million versus estimates of $20.8 million, and their Q3 provisions for credit losses, $49 million versus $26.4 million expected. Again, we'll have to wait and see how all of this compares on a broader year-over-year scale, but as I have more info, I'll certainly let you know. But yeah, if you want to check out this infographic and many more, X at TTV Research is the place to go. I love breaking down events like this.
Yeah, what I would say about CrowdStrike is that gave you, if you were patient enough and you zoomed out, CrowdStrike gave you I think a generational buying opportunity. Both by Sean and I, like it's like on the long term, we trade different styles in the day trade, but I find in the long term, like there's just so many times we'll look at like a dip buy and it's like this is a no-brainer. And it's not even just us. Like I don't know many traders that are on the floor, former traders who weren't buying CrowdStrike when it hit 210. It was just like, oh, yeah, you kidding me? Give me a break. We're buying it. It's just that simple. Sometimes the technicals are too good at a level for a quality company that you almost have to buy. But I know a certain somebody who knows a certain something or a little something about technicals, and I believe we are ready for a little trader talk. We've got our good friend, the NOS boss. Mr. Nos, Mike Nos, our good friend, of course, as always, from Stats Edge. First, good to talk to you again. I feel like, for some reason, it's been a while since I've talked to you on the aftermarket show. I don't know why. I think it's been a few weeks.
It has been a few weeks. I think I was away for maybe one, and then maybe you were away for one. But it's good to see you back.
Well, it's good to see you this morning because you were talking about a sector which maybe gets overlooked. Now, tech had a great day today. But let's just jump right into it because you were talking about a place in the market that most people don't look, which wasn't too shabby in its own right, and you had a couple of names in that group. I'm not going to spoil them for you because I want you to say them. In that group, which did very, very well today. So first of all, thank you for that. And after you go over that, I have something to stump you with. It's just a matter of working it in. And I know I don't usually stump you.
Well, I'm excited for that. But yeah, what you were mentioning, I was talking about this morning was healthcare and a couple names in it. And part of the idea here is that if you just look at the healthcare sector as a whole, it's anywhere between 10 and 15% of the index, depending on what kind of when the chart was taken. And it's been kind of left behind, right? So we have obviously tech has been hitting new all-time highs forever. XLF, the financials have been hitting new all-time highs for a while now. But we still have a big catch-up trade in healthcare. And this is, bull market behavior where you want to look for what's next. In bear markets, everything kind of gets dragged down at the same time. In bull markets, people will make money in sector A and then they'll want to sell some and take some off the table and rotate that into sector B. And I was looking here at the healthcare sector and had a nice little breakout of this declining wedge today. So I actually took some of this today and I was highlighting Oscar, which I didn't know had such a following when I mentioned it, but everyone has been kind of tweeting at me ever since with a 22% short float and the nice look that we had here. So ultimately, this needs to get through this kind of $24 area for me to be super interested. But I did nibble a little bit today just because it gapped up early and it started to run for most of the day. So I took a little bit of this Oscar as well. And the idea is that it's not as interesting as trading a big AI name or something like that, but it's important to kind of spread your bets out. When you get too concentrated in one area, take a little bit of profits there, pay yourself a little bit, but it's a bull market. So for me anyway, I want to redeploy that capital as quickly as I can because any money I have sitting on the sidelines is just not working for me in what's been an epic bull market this year.
Yeah, that's sort of the thing. Like, you always feel like a sucker when you're in an up rally, and you take that money off. When you take that money off, it's like, well, where do I put it right back in? Now, ultimately, ultimately, it doesn't mean you just throw it into any old idea. But I wanted to ask you just a follow up, and I know you can go back to maybe the Oscar chart for a quick little second, because oftentimes when we're looking for breakout plays, as a day trader, like, I love Obi has a line that I love to steal for this, where instead of just taking a breakout, taking inventory into the breakout trade. But I find that easy to do as a day trader, because like, you can always find things like the volume weighted average price that day to maybe buy into a breakout. Like, when you're nibbling in, like, what's the strategy there? Because the breakout's pretty simple. It breaks this line, or you set your stop at a prior resistance level. Like, when it comes to sizing, I'm assuming you take a little bit less, but would you have to stop where it would be if it broke the high? Is that the idea?
Yeah, so my stop for this one is where it would be if I bought it all in a breakout. If I woke up tomorrow and this thing was 24 bucks and I decided to buy it, my stop's probably going to go, somewhere around these recent lows right here, talk 17, 18 bucks. So what I did was I took 1/4 of the position. Say I want 1,000 shares of this. I would take, 250 shares here with that initial stop loss, just to see if it starts to get going a bit. And then you can see I drew in an anchored VWAP from this prior high where we had these 4 red down days. If we get a close above that, I'll add another 1/4 of that position in. And then if we get to these breakout highs, these level I want, that's where I'll make sure I'm kind of sized up where I am. And, the idea is that with 1/4 of the position, and I'm sizing it as if I was buying it at 24 and stopping out at 18, the risk on this is super tiny, but what it does is a couple things. It's just sitting there in my portfolio now, so I'm going to have my eyes on it for if we get a nice up move going in the next couple days, so I'm not going to forget it. And then the other thing is that if we end up breaking out, well, I've gotten a little bit of a better price. So if I was, say just making the numbers round to make it easy, say I was going to risk $1,000 on this position. Well, because I've been adding and kind of buying in on strength, but a little bit early, maybe my risk only becomes $750 now. So I'm taking less than 1R of what I decided for risk.
Yeah, and one thing, I've been starting to favor that, not just in day trades, but like, I don't do much swinging, but I've started to favor that kind of an idea as well. And the thing about it that's good is it's good in a bull market, because if the stock's going to break out, it helps that the market's going up. And as you said, you get a better price, so you're risking less. You just have to be careful about doing that when it's not a strong market, I think, because
right.
Ultimately, what'll happen is that you're looking for an indicator, and yeah, if in a bull market, it's just a higher percentage chance that it goes. But if we're in a weaker scenario, then all you're really doing is getting to something that hasn't set up yet, and then maybe going against the grain. Before I try to stump you, Adara has a question for you, Michael.
Sure.
Yeah, I want to talk here, Michael Noss, about the bank space. Right? So I know we had, of course, bank earnings last week, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, et cetera, a lot of which were kind of weak initially and then came back a bit. But not only that, now we have Zion Bancorp reporting earnings, but beyond that, we have these concerns here about the lending space with regards to these banks, especially regionals. So what are your thoughts on this space? Is this something that you touch right now? Is it a no-go? And do you have any specific names you like? I know that's kind of a loaded question.
Sure. Well, I think it's first important to differentiate XLF, which is our financial sector, which has been at all-time highs and basing around all-time highs, and then the smaller guys, the regional banks, the ones that everyone got afraid of just a little bit ago. The major banks, they look fine to me. This looks like just digestion after an all-time high break. You break it by a little bit, you come back to test it. So as long as this area holds, this looks fine to me. From the larger banks, your JP Morgans, your Goldman Sachs, these, Bank of America's, that kind of thing. Regional banks, a little bit more under pressure. You can see the all-time highs. We're not even back to that from that regional banking crisis we had way back here in March of 2020, and then we had the scare off in 2023. So these haven't broken out just yet. Now, today was a great day for them because we had a fall off the 10-year. I think the important thing to note with these guys is really just about interest rates. The lower interest rates go, the better for these smaller banks. The big guys don't care as much. Now, full disclosure, on this day after we had this really big sell-off and we held in, I bought some DPST, I think it is, which is deposit, which is a 3x leverage regional bank, because why not have a 3x leverage regional bank ETF? So I bought a little bit on that right there. And then you look at KRE for that. And this is kind of potentially looking like a little bit of a cup and handle style or a head and shoulder style pattern. If we can get back through this 66 fairly quickly, then I like the look of regional banks. The thing I love about this trade is I know right where I'm wrong. That's like 57.50. If we lose that, so I'm risking 3 points on this, obviously going to be more on the leverage instrument, but 3 points on this one for a potential 6 to, if we get to highs, you're talking 9 points. That's just a nice little risk reward profile. So it's one of those trades that I almost have to take just because I think the setup looks okay. And then if I'm right, I make 3 times as much as if I'm wrong.
It's hard to argue with a setup like that. I love that. I find myself sometimes, I'll look at like a mean reversion trade on daily. It's like, if I like a mean reversion trade, it's an all-day trend, then and the risk reward is good, I have to take it. It's just this part. Yeah. If it's an A setup, you just take the A setup, almost regardless of where it happens, so long as there's liquidity. So everyone always talks about gold, but I don't want to talk about gold. On Friday, on Friday, silver had a move in it, which was a little violent to the downside. I mean, gold kind of pulled back as well. But I look at this parabolic chart that's happening, and some uptrends are really easy to find. I mean, just ridiculously easy to find. Gold goes, silver goes. This is the one that everyone says is manipulated and it should be so much more valuable than ever, but almost no one ever does any work or technicals on it. I day traded from time to time, especially during this rally. I've been favoring the long side. But that was one heck of a candle, which oddly enough did not break the trend. It is very difficult to look at a trend like this, see a pullback like that, and say, well, you should just be resuming the upward trend. Because when you get that kind of a candle, most people are thinking reverse. Your thoughts potentially on silver? I promise you, there's no chance you looked at a silver chart this morning or the weekend, Michael.
I own a little bit of silver.
Oh, come on.
FYI.
No, you don't.
And what I think is important here, I'm probably the only one you've ever had on the show that knows that this is where silver topped in 1980, because I wasn't even born then with this much gray in the beard. But you look at this chart, and this is a monthly chart. We're talking, 1970 to now. We're talking a 55-year chart. So take this for what it will. This isn't kind of day trading advice, but you had this giant cup that took many, many years to get back to that price. You sell off it. Then you have this other cup that you come back and you hit that price, and we're having a little bit of problems there. For me, this seems like just natural price action behavior, where if you were long silver from anywhere in the 30s, when you're looking to take profits, you would see these prior highs that happened in 2011 and that happened in 1979. And you'd say, okay, there's some resistance here. So maybe potentially it's time to take a little bit off the table. Now, what I'm looking for my silver position, which I think I have marked up here, maybe a daily chart, but essentially I just took this breakout of this little area right here around 34, is I'm just looking for this to consolidate sideways for a while. I think a really good example to pull on recently is Ethereum, right? It took a big shot to get up to these prior highs, and now it's just been consolidating, even with the flash crash aside and everything like that. It's been consolidating very nice and tight at this base. That's what I want to see silver do as well, is give it just a month, a couple months, maybe even a quarter of digestion and sideways accumulation, and then a break, and I potentially could add to the trade. I just wanted to point out that this is how commodities move. Like, commodities will do nothing for many, many years. And I always come back to this coca chart, where coca did absolutely nothing from 2016 till it broke out in 2023. Anyone who's trading down here was just having an actual nightmare of a time. And then it broke out and it had a 300-400% gainer. And that's just how commodities seem to work. They seem to have long periods of time of absolutely nothing. They're the most boring thing in the world. No one wants to touch them. And then you have some kind of a breakout, and you can have these huge explosive moves that come out of nowhere, and you can never really predict when they're going to end. So that's why I think trend following and people who use trend following ideas seem to work really, really well in the commodity space, less so in equities, where we know it's a little bit choppier, a little bit more breakout or mean reversion trading. But that's what I'm seeing here in silver. Again, if we can get through that 1980 high, who knows? Sky's the limit.
So, I mean, that's like an abject fail on my part, because usually at least I feel like you're processing and working through your thoughts. And like I try to bring a symbol for everybody that I think is interesting, that there's no way Michael's prepared for, and you literally have like what seemed like your morning presentation ready for it there. So look, I'm happy for it, because to be perfectly honest, like I have a little bit of I do own some silver myself as well. I've been wondering what to do up here, but I think, I do think there is a bigger breakout happening. I'm glad you brought that up. Like, of course you had that all prepared. And again, I didn't realize that, some of the references in terms of what, comparing it to ETH, that's absolutely genius. I'm gonna have to take a second look at Ethereum right now to have some different thoughts. I actually thought ETH was looking like a little top heavy for some sells. Didn't work for the short I had today, which was weird. It's bizarre, beyond weird. Bitcoin was trending down, and I made money going long. And I lost money on an ETH short, and that was weak today. Sometimes it's like that. Like, go figure. Like, you're against the trend and it works, and then you try to go with the trend and it doesn't. But that's just trading for you.
I think that's important to note too. Where I've noticed the same thing, where it seems like crypto is, at least for now, kind of decoupling itself. Like, we're having days that Bitcoin is up and Ethereum's down, or Ripple's up and Dogecoin's down. And generally speaking, it was very much for the longest time, a kind of follow the leader game, in which whatever Bitcoin would do, maybe Ethereum would lag a little bit or lead a little bit. But to see one up and the other down, I'm seeing that more and more in the crypto space, which makes me wonder if we're going to end up being more and more like equities, in which we're going to be able to trade long one cryptocurrency and short another cryptocurrency against it. I'm hoping so, because that would be really fun. But just, something I've noticed pop up a little recently.
Actually, I think that would be great. I think maybe not everybody would be happy with that outcome, but I think old head traders probably would really like to be able to see that, because it opens up all kinds of opportunities out there that I don't think most crypto traders are used to, which is an advantage, and I think a big time opportunity. Before we get you out of here, I have to ask you a question, Michael. I don't know, you're in Canada as well, obviously out east. Just out of curiosity, has the fever caught on in Halifax as well for something that's happening tonight?
Absolutely. It's going to be a madhouse around here. And it's funny, I just got back from Orlando. I spent the end of last week in Orlando. And the amount of people at a conference that I shake their hands and introduce myself and all of that, they would obviously instantly pick up that I'm Canadian. But then it would go right from you're Canadian to let's talk about the Jays game coming up. So it's not just big up here. It seems like, that's kind of the other side of America. It seems like it's really interesting for them too.
Well, I'm excited. I'll be at the game tonight, because go Jays, go. But most importantly, again, Michael, thank you for your thoughts on silver. Thank you for your thoughts and call, which I think is fantastic, on the healthcare space, and for all the work that you do. Good luck with all of your trading. Look forward to talking to you at the end of the week. And then, of course, again, every single Monday, Michael Noss, our good friend from Stats Edge. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me. Talk to you guys soon.
Talk to you later.
Thank you, Michael.
I'm going in the wrong direction, Adara, when it comes to trying to stump Michael. I feel like I was building a little bit of momentum where, at least I could tell he was having to think about it.
You're bidding up, yeah.
Yeah, and that was just a complete mean reversion to Neil. You didn't just not stump him. You probably just asked him a question that he was the most prepared possible to
And he was
answer.
excited. You could tell he was excited. He was waiting.
It's like he wanted to talk about silver.
He always calls it gold's crazy cousin. He has a nickname for it, so.
So you knew he was ready ready to.
Well, I didn't know he was going to talk about it today, but I knew he could potentially talk about it. Like, as someone who has a nickname for a certain, GLP-1 stock, when you have a nickname for a stock, you probably are willing and excited to talk about it at any moment, just from anecdotal experience. Shout out to Eli Lilly. But either way, yeah, I mean, I didn't know he'd be prepared to talk about it today. But either way, shout out to Michael Noss, who was always prepared for any question we throw at him because he's the best.
Well, you know what else we're ready for around here? Well, at least we're supposed to be ready for it. And the way to get ready for this thing that we call roll call, everybody, is to jump in the chat. If you want to get in the chat right now, you've got to be a subscriber. So hit the like, hit the subscribe button as I am speaking so that you can jump in here for Adara to drop the roll call action. And I always say you got to type something in the chat. What do you think I'm going to say right now? I don't know. What could I possibly... You can give a big thank you to everyone on our team. We have a great team. Fabian, Ramin, Andre, Sean, the Midday Boys, Sharif, of course, Joey Options, Brendo, Adara. But that's not what everyone needs to say. I hope everyone is a Blue Jays fan, because I'm just going to say, let's go Blue Jays in the chat, and let's get this roll call started.
I'm shocked, Neil. I did not think you'd be saying that, but no, I'm joking. Of course, it makes a lot of sense. My favorite comment here I saw was D. Westmeyer saying that we should stop him next time with milk futures to really trip up our good friend Michael Noss. So shout out to D. Westmeyer, shout out to Julian L, Derek Thompson, D. Westmeyer once again here. Yummy Thai Foods, John Probulski, we've got TX Jet Fan, we have Jason Quingy, Darth Zed, Carl Gruen, Cookie, Rob Edenfield, we have our Daryl Flinch. We've got Laura Bennett. We've got Miami Dragon, a proper dang paradox. Invarger, Sean Carter. Shout out to Jay-Z, I guess. Andrew Chow, the Tranquil channel. We have Neil Roberts in the chat. Ryan O'Day, Derek Thompson, Stock Trader. Lee the Conductor, Roger Noonan, Francis Martinez, A Day of the Knife, Hurt Scrambler, Blastoise, to Pokemon, Traveling Pants, T27, A Day in the Life, Midday Rester. I'll end with that one. Make sure, guys, to check us out every single day. Go Jays. Shout out to Neil, Sean, Sharif, Joe, Brendan. We have Fabian, Ramin, Andre. We have Russell killing it with construction. We've got Mark, Rob, and Randy killing it every single day. Shout out to everybody you see, everybody you don't see, and everybody in this chat. Sorry for any names that I missed. I do want to mention as well, guys, Zions Bancorp with a double beat. $1.48 versus $1.45 expected. Sales, 861 million versus 843.606 million. And again, guys, keep checking XOTTV research. I have a ton of content that I've been preparing for you that I'm rolling out throughout the week. It's mostly correlated to whatever day the earnings are, so stay tuned. I am very excited.
And we're all excited for that as well. Adair is a literal machine, everybody. I know I was joking around about Obi being a robot, but Adair is on a whole nother level.
That capture story is crazy.
Oh my goodness.
I asked him if that was real, and he said it was, and I was like, wow.
No, if anybody that missed the show on Friday, the Obi is a robot joke. I watched Obi fail 20 times in a row to do a CAPTCHA to be able to log into something.
And it is true. It is a true story.
And it was 100%. She was just sitting there, and it's like, wrong. And it was as simple as like, pick out the 4 pictures that have a stop sign or a stop sign in them. Pick out the pictures that have a car in them. And he just keeps on getting it wrong 20 times in a row. I'm like, this dude's a robot, man. But you know what? You know what we are around here? We're robotic about making sure we give you all of the action in the markets. We'll do it again tomorrow morning, bright and early. This is Trader TV Live. The recap's been brought to you by Beta Pro by Globex. We'll see you at 8:30 in the morning. Go Jays, go.
See you guys.